Welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatics channel. What's good with you? It's your boy JB here on a Friday, and we got some football here. Week 2 of the NFL preseason. This game will get us kicked off here. And week 2, probably you might say the most exciting week, honestly. I feel like week 3 because it's the last week, but the second week here, we get to see usually more of the starters. Now, that may not be the case for every single starter, but majority across the league there, we'll get to see more meaningful snaps there earlier in the game. So we'll see how everything shapes out here. But we've got the Titans, we've got the Falcons. I'm excited. Get to watch Cam Ward here for the Tennessee Titans. So that's got me stoked there. And obviously for Atlanta, see what their offense looks like here as well, defensively as well. All ready to get us started here. Lewis came through the building and he said, "Hello, JB." He said, "I'll try to join the stream later, but if I don't make it," he's got the over at 35. So Lewis took the over here. He said, "Why not take the over again?" It worked out for him last time. Samuel, what's good? And Samuel says, "Hey, what's up, bro?" He says, "Yo, JB at Dallas, Texas. What's good with you, Samuel?" And Samuel reminds everybody to be sure to press that like button and subscribe and have that notification bell turned on for sure. And RC, do my eyes deceive me? RC in the building already. What's good, man? What's good with you? Meanwhile, kickoff on the way, and the Falcons will get the football here first. And the Falcons on the return gets brought down at about the 24-yard line. So let's see what them Dirty Birds can do here on the opening drive of the game here for the Atlanta Falcons. So one thing we do know, no Kirk Cousins today. We won't get to see Kirk Cousins at all today. He's making all that money, and honestly, he's working about as hard as we're working, guys. So Mr. JB says, "Let's go Falcons." Okay, okay. Braden in the building. What's good with you, Braden? Speaking of Mr. JB and Braden, I believe the Packers and Colts play this Saturday. Unfortunately, JB won't be able to watch that game, so I didn't choose that game to stream. Can't even watch my own team against the Vikings. All right, first play of the drive here. It's a run play for the Atlanta Falcons, and he's going to carry it all the way to about the 28-yard line there on the carry. So again, they chose a running play, and that was Carter out the backfield. Nathan Carter picks up about 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 coming up here for the Atlanta Falcons here on the opening drive. Braden says doing good. Braden, I heard that Braden's got about 3 or 4 Lambos just parked in the garage. Braden's living life. All right, play fake. Quarterback on the move, gets the throw and a completion. All right, going to pick up a couple yards here. Let's see how many yards they're going to credit him with. It's a pickup of 6 yards there. That was David Stills with the reception. Again, nice little play fake there. And then Eaton Stick with his first completion of the night off of his first attempt of the night. Let's see if that continues to be the theme. Last time out there, I think he threw for like 149 yards, if I'm not mistaken, his last game. So we'll see if he can continue that as he should get similar snaps in this one. Now, 3rd and 1, looks like a little quarterback keeper here to get that first down. Gotta like it. Gotta like it. And Stick moves the stick on that play. Braden said he ain't that rich now. He says he's only got two. He says he's only got two. He says, what sensible person doesn't have two Lambos just parked in the garage just waiting for whenever he needs it? Yeah, so 1st and 10 after that quarterback sneak here again, Atlanta with the football. Opening drive here of the game, and they're at their own 35-yard line. Tight end goes in motion. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back. Thick throws it, gets the completion there to the receiver on the quick screen, and he's going to pick up a few yards there, maybe about 2 yards on the play. And that is Drummond. Last time out there, I think Drummond had like 80 something receiving yards in the Falcons' first game. So keep an eye out for him to see if he can repeat that performance here today. But that's his first catch there for 2 yards. Oh, I misspoke. He had 63 yards, 8 receptions, 63 yards. I knew there was an 8 in there somewhere. Eden says, "Did I see the NBA schedule come out?" I actually glanced at like the opening day schedule, but I didn't look at like the entire schedule yet. But I looked at like the opening day schedule. But I do want to take a look like how does the Christmas schedule. So tell me some of the key matchups, outside of just opening day, because I did look at some of the opening day matchups, but that was about it so far for me. But I should definitely take some time to look through it. And we've got Mike in the building. What's good with you, Mike? And Mike coming through, pressing the thumbs up button. Appreciate that there, Mike. And you said you will be around. Things are always great when Mike's around. Glad to have you. All right, 3rd and 7 here for the Falcons here. Gets the snap. Thick throws it. Gets the completion. Should be enough for the first down there. And that's going to be a first down. He picked up, looks like about 8 yards there on the play. So a first down. All right. So see, Samuel says JB live streamed 4 years ago. And so has it really been that long that JB's been in the game that long? Oh man, I might start considering myself a veteran in the industry pretty soon. Let's see, Brady says I'm gonna be watching a lot more NBA games this year since it's back on NBC. I did hear about that. So I may actually get to watch more. But look who's in the building. Rising Rhino. What's good with you? What's good? And he says, hey, yo, how's it going? He says, what up, JB? Rhino, talk to me. How are things going, man? Oh, man. So we got, let's see, second down coming up. Again, first quarter, 10 minutes and 53 seconds to go right now. And so let's see what happens here. Again, still opening drive here for the Falcons. Can the Titans find a way to tighten things up, or will Atlanta go out there and score? Braden says the Christmas schedule is really good. Rhino says, yeah, buddy, what's the deal? You said tired, back to work the last 2 weeks. How's that been for you? And how do you prepare to return back to work typically? I mean, after having a little bit of time off, how do you typically prepare? And what a sack. I believe I Gray in on the sack there. Looks like it could be multiple guys in on that sack, but you look at the replay there, it was 2nd and 8. I mean, the running back got lit up. That's how you don't make a team. He got lit up, and then his guy got the sack. So as a running back, they always say it, pass protection is extremely important. If you want to get in that field, that's what separates guys that get continuous opportunities to hang around and stay on the field. All right, tight end goes in motion. He makes the quick pass there and not going anywhere. He hesitated about making that quick pass there. And again, that's Nick Nash, wide receiver out of San Jose State. I remember pre-draft considering him as a possible target, I thought, for my team, like in the 7th or late rounds. I shouldn't say 7th, but late in the draft. See, Mike says, do we know why Penix is not out there? And so it seems to me that between him and Kirk Cousins, Atlanta's just playing it safe this week and not playing either of them. We'll see if they get some reps next time. But like, because they say Kirk Cousins is good also, but he could be out there, but he's not. So you know how that goes. Absolutely. Because I've been watching you for 4 years now, which is crazy. And so, man, time flies when you're having fun. Time flies when you're having fun. 4 years, wow. I really hadn't thought about it, honestly. I had not thought about how long it's been. Girana says, "Gotta catch up on sleep, that's for sure." Hey, you're better than me. You're better than me. Because your boy was up to like 2 a.m. last night. I was up to about 2 a.m. last night and didn't have to get up at like 6. So not too much sleep, but it's a Friday. JB will always be hyped Friday. It says button. So oh yeah, had to. Now we've got SM in the building. What's good? SM says, what's the word, JB? So, yes, I'll tell you what the word is. Your boy is ready for the regular season. Next weekend, like next week, Saturday, so not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend, we get a little taste of college football back. Y'all know JB's going to be hyped for that. I'm going to be streaming the Iowa State versus Kansas State game. I looked at the schedule, and that day, that's the only decent game that we've really gotten by decent game in terms of two big time teams that it might actually have some kind of implications on the college football playoffs. There could be another game there, but yeah, like I was not going to do Idaho State. I was not going to do that one. So yeah, I'll be streaming that one next week Saturday. So I'm excited for that. Some college football. Then the week after, where everybody else gets their first week in college football. Great stuff. Great stuff. And then not to mention the preseason well on the way. Let's see. RC said, "Did I just see Rhino in here?" You saw correctly. But if you ask Rhino, he's like, nope, no Rhino here, RC. So Yeah, like 4 years, that's crazy. Cause let's see, I started back in like I think 2021, December of 2021. So December should be around 5 years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2021. So I'm sorry, like, unless my math is wrong. If so, bring me back to school here. It's okay. So I think I started in December. So yeah, this should be coming up on. I'm sorry, it should be coming up on 4 years. I'm tripping. Should be coming up close to 4 years, basically. So I know I started in December. So unless it was 2020, then it could be five. Because I feel like five is what we're coming to. So maybe I started in 2020. That's probably it. It goes so fast. It does. And when you stream as much as Rising Rhino does, it grows just as fast. Like my goodness. All right, let's see. So the Tennessee Titans here. First quarter, 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Their first offensive play here. Cam Ward up under center. Receiver goes in motion. One back in the backfield. They give it to the back. And the back, look at that, takes it all the way to the 10-yard line there. Nice little run on the play. RC said, JB, Kevin Tug Watson, you said killed while live streaming on Facebook. Oh, wow. And YouTube yesterday in the west side of Chicago, somebody tried to rob him for his chain. Oh, man, to take somebody's life over a chain, man, that's crazy, man. Well, it's like all this stuff is happening in Chicago because I guarantee you it's like once a month at least, RC informs me that some of this took place in Chicago. It's just crazy. All right, Cam Ward looking. There's no Calvin Ridley today, but it doesn't matter. He gets a nice completion. Oh my goodness, to the 45-yard line. How many yards was that? Wow. And again, depending on when you took his player prop and where, they gave him anywhere from 46.5 to the highest I seen was like 59.5, I think, in terms of his player prop for passing yards. So that's a good chunk right there. That's 35 yards there on his first pass, and he threw it to his boy, former Miami Hurricane, his wide receiver that they drafted in the fourth round. So they played together in college at the University of Miami. Now, another run play. When you throw like that, those running lanes, they will open. And that was Mullins on the carry there. Khalil Mullins, the former Michigan Wolverine running back there. So Tennessee already got me hyped up here. It's like, okay, I see you. I see you. I was a little concerned, no Calvin Ridley, because last game all he did was target Calvin Ridley. But now he's throwing it to his boy. That makes me happy because they got that chemistry. But here we go. Second and three. Three receivers, one tight end, one back. Ball at the 48-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons. Receiver goes in motion, fakes the back. Looking. Ward on the move. Ward, there's a flag. Just throw it away. There's a flag. Throws that one up there out of bounds. Yep. Okay. So, yeah, there was a penalty there. They're going to get called for holding, I believe. But yeah, RC, that's some wild stuff, man. That's some wild stuff. Oh, I didn't even read your comment that time, RC. My bad. Let's see. RC said he was sitting in his car just live streaming by his cousin's job. And after 20 minutes or so, they pulled him out of the car and put a gun in his face, and he refused to give up his jewelry. Oh man, that's insane, man. That's insane. That's insane. Like she says, SM, yes, crazy, crazy, wild, wicked story, man. That's insane. SM says you're rooting for Cam Ward. I mean, you'll be hard to find someone that's really supporting this guy, as much as JB is. Because honestly, I like the kid. I like his demeanor, his focus, and his love of the game for football, and I've seen this kid continue to grow. So I'm rooting for him. All right, from their own 42-yard line after the penalty, Ward looking. Ward has options, throws it, and dropped the ball. Jefferson looking like he should have started on the Jeffersons, man. What's going on with that? Jackson said, JB, I'm in this state, but I try my best to stay out the way. I really do. And I refuse to wear nice things unless I'm on the inside of an event. And I know 98% of people got it there. That 2% would still concern me, RC. But I feel you there. But it honestly feels that way. Like wearing nice stuff just makes you a target there because people are always out and looking. And it's a shame, too. It's a shame. You work hard, you should be able to show off. And Leslie Samuel says, "Hey JB, you say Milwaukee game, the Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets game two play-by-play reaction live stream, 64 views 4 years ago, June 7th, 2021. Oh wow, Oh wow, yeah, if we're going back to when JB was doing basketball, then yeah, we're back in the archive section for sure. Another incompletion there. So fourth down coming up. We're seeing from Cam Ward for like those deeper passes there. Now, should have connected on that deep ball. Wish he did. That would have been amazing. But hey, we'll see it next time out there. I know Lewis took the over at 35, so he's gonna want to see some points pretty soon. Falcons get it from their own 5. Oh, man, split defenders here. Stays on his feet there. That's just hard work to take it to the 14-yard line. That's what I'm saying. I was late on my picks, shaking my head. You said Cam Ward passing yards was easy money. And so, yes, it was SM. If I could have tapped you on the shoulder or just, sent you a message or something, I could have let you know. Because I was looking at it last night and I was like, dang, if only payday would have been last night because it was as low as about 46.5 on prize picks. Now, underdog, they jumped up fast. I saw that they jumped up with their line like about 16 yards real fast. And Calvin Ridley had a high number too, Calvin Ridley, but he's not playing in this one. Well, I mean, not a high number, a low number also. I tried to pair those two, but Ridley's not playing. SM says Van Jefferson, and so I assumed it was Van Jefferson, but let me just double check to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, that was indeed Van Jefferson. I'm like, come on, Jefferson. At this advanced age, they still got you out there going deep. Like, come on. But if that was Van Jefferson from when he got a Super Bowl, that'd have been a cat. But it ain't that no more. But yeah, it's a nice, exciting preseason game. We just got to see some points here. That's all we got to see, some points here, and hopefully we'll see that coming up soon. Sam says the New Orleans Saints' new head coach for the 2025 season is Kellen Moore. How do you feel about that, Samuel? Kellen Moore. And how do you feel about the quarterback competition that's taking place right now for the New Orleans Saints? Is it going to be my boy Spencer Rattler, who we again saw at the collegiate level, and depending on when we saw him, and I hated him at Oklahoma. I did hate him at Oklahoma, but when he left Oklahoma, it's like I liked him at South Carolina. So I am rooting for him. I don't know how that happened, where it's like I disliked him at Oklahoma, but I liked him at South Carolina and stuff. So I am rooting for him. And then the rookie that they drafted, personally, I hope Spencer Rattler wins that job there. I want to see him continue to develop, but I'm not a Saints fan, so anyone that's a Saints fan, you let me know what you think is best. And she says, "Well, JB, as you know, I sometimes live stream in a car and I keep my head in a swivel. Generally, he was watching his surroundings initially, but then he sunk so deep into his convo, he got comfortable. And so, absolutely, absolutely. Like JB doesn't even give you 2 seconds after JB gets into the car before JB's already locked that door and stuff like that. So, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy just to sneak in there and catch me off guard like that. Oh, no. The moment I sit down, before that seatbelt comes on, I'm locking that door. But yeah, crazy times, man. Crazy times. All right, so Falcons with the football again from their own 14-yard line. Quarterback up under center here. Receiver goes in motion. Tosses it to the back and the back. Got to get to the outside here. And gets knocked down. Picks up a yard on the play before he got tripped up there. So 2nd and 9 coming up. So again, waiting to see who's going to get the first points of the game here. All right, stick, throws it. Gets the completion there. Takes it to the 25-yard line. That's how you move the ball there. Pickup of about 10 yards there. First down. 5 minutes and 58 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play. Or she said, JB plus here's the kicker where he was a notorious bad area to be at. And honestly, I only go live on depending on how safe the area is. And that's the other thing, JB. He didn't have his door locked. And so, yeah, I've caught too many people lacking, with their doors not being locked. Like when you get in your vehicle and you in a sketchy area, the first thing you got to do is lock your door. Because that split second that it's going to take for them to bust your window and stuff like that is enough time to crank up that car and get going. But you let them get inside that car with you. Oh wow. But man, that's some crazy stuff that's happening down there in Chicago, RC. You got to stay safe. Samuel says he missed Drew Brees. He said, please come back to the Saints. You want Drew Brees at this advanced age to come back? Eric, my guy, what's good? Eric says it must be football time. Absolutely. You know it. You know it. There's nothing like football time. Believe me. I mean, don't get me wrong. JB likes the NBA, but I absolutely love the NFL. Meanwhile, nice carry up the middle there for Carter. The offensive line is getting a nice push on some of these carries. Second down coming up. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go again. We're still tied 0-0. This is the second offensive possession for the Atlanta Falcons here. And Ethan Stick hands the ball off, and this time Carter goes nowhere. Third down coming up. So now you got a third and short situation. What do? Laney, what's good with you? Laney, how was your son's birthday? I hope he enjoyed his birthday last Saturday. And you got to let me know if there was any cake, what type of cake was there? Eric says, hopefully you're well, JB. And so I'm glad to hear you're well. And yes, anytime you catch JB here on a Friday, JB's in a good mood. So best believe it. But yeah, JB's doing well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Meanwhile, first down there for the Falcons. Again, Carter putting in work on this drive here for Atlanta. But hey, we saw them move last drive. Can this actually result in some points here for the Atlanta Falcons? That's what we want to see. Will it result in some points? Samuel says, hey, what's up, bro, at Laney? And so Lewis is like, hey, where's my point? He's like, it's been plenty of time. Where are the touchdowns? I hope they go deep for you right here. This one's for Lewis. I say play fake, go deep, get that touchdown. Right now, Stick is 6 for 6 for 29 yards. All right, so run play here. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage there at midfield. Second down coming up here. It says JB Lakers 34 national televised games. Okay, Rockets 28 national televised. We got more than the Rockets. I would have thought, given the hype around the Rockets, that they would have been in the 30s as well. Knicks 28, Warriors 32. Okay, okay. Lakers leading the way. That means I'm gonna get to watch a lot of Lakers this year. I'm hyped about that. Believe it. All right, Stick throws it. Stick to an interception. Oh my goodness. And he's trying to turn on. No, he doesn't want that smoke. And so, wow. So Eaton Stick says, how can I piss off bettors? And he throws a pick six, guys. But hey, Lewis says he'll take it. Lewis says he'll take it. But man, he threw a touchdown for the other team. Wow. That's insane. Laney says it was very good. It was a ding dong cake, and your niece made it for him. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm happy to hear that it was good. Great times, great times. So now, Tennessee, after being gifted the pick six, they missed the extra point. What is going on out there? Oh my goodness. Maybe it's the field. Maybe all this time we thought it was cool last year. Maybe it was just the field. Emmer says, good luck, RC and Zoe Vikings team season 2025. RC says, Laney, what kind of cake is that? RC says, what does that consist of? RC's like, you're not gonna just throw that cake out there and not explain and elaborate for us to know what it is and what it consists of. So again, we're at the commercial here. Titans up 6-0. They got a pick six, but that's all they got. They missed the extra point there, and Lewis knows how important that 1 point can be. So I'm sure that Lewis is over there throwing tables, chairs, some of everything. The RC says, JB, does Samuel know I like the Vikings and Cowboys both? Well, he knows now. He knows now. If he didn't, he knows now. Samuel says, "Why me coming to birthday, son?" And so, uh, I didn't realize you had a son, Samuel. How old are we talking? Yeah, Samuel, the man that's been everywhere through Mississippi, all kind of dates. I remember. Remember, you were going to all those dates. I remember last year, Samuel. Samuel is a ladies' man. Oh yeah, Samuel. Let's see. Laney says chocolate and white cream like a hostess. Okay, ding dong cupcake, chocolate white cake, and so okay. I can envision that. Sounds good. I might have to put in a request for my birthday and tell my wife to make me one. And she says, "JB, I got 2 days ago. How did you get hurt? See, talk to me. How did you get hurt? And how severe are you? Hopefully, you're feeling better. If it's 2 days ago, how did that happen?" And RC says, "Laney, oh, okay, that sounds really good. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great. Sounds great." Tell me this, Laney. Have you ever had a sweet potato pie? I know we've had this conversation on my stream multiple times here in terms of just in general, but I wasn't sure if you were one of the ones that actually had sweet potato pie before. That is JB's all-time favorite pie, but at the same time, that is the one that the doctor would tell JB to stay away from the most. So, but yeah, sweet potato pie. Yeah, Mike knows what I mean because I introduced it to Mike a couple years ago, and yeah, Mike loved it as much as I do. So yeah. Now I know RC knows sweet potato pie. I ain't gotta ask RC. I know my man knows that. All right, and the guy that had the interception there, let's see, what year is he in? Samuel said he was coming to the party. Samuel wanted some of the cake there. He wanted to come to the party. All right, so now Atlanta coming back to the field here again. Multiple tight ends, two receivers, one back in the backfield from their own 35-yard line. Play fake. Guy in front of him, so he throws it, gets the completion, and gets to the 40-yard line. And again, stick moving that ball. I guess he's kind of limping out there a little bit. We'll continue to monitor that. Reminds me, the Falcons used to have Felipe Frank. I seen Frank on the back of that guy. I know they didn't convert him to a tight end, I don't think. Runs it up the middle. Let's see. RC says, JB, I got a 19-year-old, 7-year-old, and 3-year-old. Okay. I didn't realize you had a 19-year-old or someone that was 19 there. Okay. Nice. Do any of them play any sports? Laney says, "No, I haven't, but I made a sweet potato casserole last Thanksgiving, and so I bet you it was good too. I bet you it was good." But if, if you're not too concerned about sugar, like if you don't have to worry about sugar levels and stuff like that, then sweet potato pie, try it out this Thanksgiving when they have a ton of them out there, or just whenever, and you won't regret it. You won't regret it. Oh man, I was about to say that the receiver out there playing DB. I guess he said whatever it takes to prevent the interception. I'm like, I need to see some more points here, and I need to see Cam Ward with the ball again. Daniel says, "Yummy cake." Oh yeah. Laney says, "RC is CC Caitlin Clark playing tonight?" It's a good question because I have no idea. I thought she'd be out for a good minute still, but I have no idea when she's supposed to come back. I said I sat in the wooden chair in the basement and it snapped all four legs and base, and you crashed down to the concrete floor near your girlfriend. You fell hard on your tailbone inside. RC, how old was that chair, man? That's man. Nah, that couldn't happen to JB now, because JB would be out for the rest of the season if that were to happen, man. That would be insane. Insane. I mean, you say all four pairs, like all four legs, they snap simultaneously, RC? That's crazy, man. I'm glad you didn't get seriously hurt. I know you said you got hurt, but I'm glad it can't be that bad. You must be doing better now. But man, that's crazy. All right, so again, here we go. Let's see. RC said, Laney, no Caitlin Clark tonight. Unfortunately, you was watching the Mystics and Fever game. It just started. Okay, but I guess she must be like day to day at this point. Laney says you will. All right, and then let JB know. Let JB know. Believe me, if you love it, then hey, JB did something great. Black medicine in the building. We can't talk Falcons without talking black medicine. What's good with you? He says, did you start late? You couldn't find my stream at all. And so I started before the kickoff. Yeah, because like I started maybe a couple minutes after my scheduled time, but before the kickoff there. So I was on time. I was on time. Matter of fact, RC was here before, like right before JB was on. So, but yeah, we was here on time. So I don't know. YouTube must be mad at me. Mr. JB said we haven't bad weather. You guys are having bad weather over there in Georgia? Oh man. And he says, "Are you okay, RC?" And so yeah, RC, that's what I want to know, man, because that sounds like it was a terrible fall. Yes, my girlfriend tried to move me immediately. I was like, please don't move me. Please don't. Just let me lay here after that hard fall. I couldn't imagine that chair would fall to pieces like that. And so, I mean, was it like a stronger type of chair? Like, is it a chair that I guess you've had for a long time? Because, man, like, I got my complete faith in this chair. If this chair would have gave out, JB would really get hurt. Because now that JB's on the other side of 30 here, these falls, they take a while to recover. Okay, Samuel says, breaking news, Elvis Presley passed away at age 42 tomorrow. Because tomorrow will be August the 16th. Okay, so 1977. And so, okay. RC said, JB, you ever had Parker LaBelle I'm sorry, sweet potato pie is really good. And so, yes, Patty LaBelle. I was like, Parker LaBelle. Yeah, Patty LaBelle. Yes, yes. I believe the last time I did might have been about, was it 2 or 3 years ago? I feel like it's been a minute. It's been a minute. 'Cause every time I go, they always try to, they'll put the pumpkin pie out there and try to hide the sweet potato pie. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do this again. We're not going to do this again. We're about to, and I know what I want. So they try to hide it from JB. All right, but here goes the Tennessee Titans here with just 59 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play. Ward gets the snap, gives it to the back, off the right guard, gets back to the 10-yard line. That's about it. There's a lineman that's in some pain here for Tennessee, it looks like. Let's see if he gets up or if the medical staff tends to him or not. Probably going to tough it up here. Okay. He says, Laney, I'm still generally sore to bruised, but I feel better than the first 24 hours. You iced it down and used the heating pad later and took some pain pills. Oh man, RC, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy that happened. That's crazy. It's definitely one of the things that JB's like when it comes to furniture, like chairs and stuff. I got to make sure that I get some high quality. I can't be falling. I can't be falling like that. I can't be falling because JB will not get up. All right, so here goes the shotgun formation for the Tennessee Titans here. Four receivers, one back receiver goes in motion here. Ward looking quick pass, gets the catch. Can he make something out of this? Picks up about 2 yards on the play. Third down coming up. 22 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play. So far in this one, let's see. So Cam Ward, he's like 2 of 4 for 37 yards in this one. Let's see if Tennessee can pick up the first down, but they won't do it here as that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter. So at the end of the first quarter, the Tennessee Titans lead 6-0 because of Eaton Thick throwing that pick six. And again, at Tennessee Titans, they missed the extra point, but those 6 points came off an interception Falcons quarterback threw on a pick six. So actually one more. It says, my auntie gave us the chair a year or two ago, and JB, I'm really closer to 40 than 30. So I know RC. I know. I know. I can just imagine. But man, I'm glad that this did not result in any type of hospital visit. Because man, that's a big fall. Like just to fall straight like that. It's different if it was like one leg and then you kind of feel it falling, so then you kind of can brace a little bit while it's happening. But if it just flat out just gave out like that, yeah, that one's gonna lead to some real pain. Miss says, "Hey JB, yummy drink." You say name is Manhattan iced tea at Applebee's. I'm gonna make note of that, Samuel. I'm gonna make note of that. I'm gonna make note of that. Lena said, "I'd still be laying there because you're over 50." And so you still be laying in there, Laney. And so, well, definitely, we definitely don't want it. Too many of those, broken tears for sure. But again, RC, glad to hear that you are, recovering well. You're feeling better. That's important. But man, I can just imagine in that moment when you say, "Just leave me there." It's like, hey, just let me be. Just let me be. Please. Laney says, "LOL." Rusty says, Samuel and JB, he said, last time the fam and I went to Applebee's, we were so disappointed. It doesn't make no sense. She said, customer service was pathetic and the food was super, super mid, never going back. Yes, he said, never going back. That's a permanent review that they will not change. And so, okay, okay. Mean, I feel you. I feel like that was one of those things, like, when you're very young, the thought of going to Applebee's and stuff, great. But when you get older and you start tasting some of those other restaurants, it's like, wait a minute, why am I paying all of this for this? As you mentioned, customer service, all that stuff, food. For me, it was the food, really. It was the food, honestly. It's like, come on now. Only thing that made me feel like it was a restaurant was just the price. Like man, it says RC Yokozuna, will they drop on the chair? Daddy's okay. Bonzo. Oh, man. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so here we go. To start the second quarter now. Tennessee up 6-0. Lewis needs some points. JB needs some passing yards here from Cam Ward. You know, a penalty. What are they doing? They just call him Yoko Tuna. Listen, says Chili's clears Applebee's by a lot. Yes. Lewis has finally made it. Yes, and so, hey, take a shot for that touchdown. He says he'll take it how he can take it. He says right now, if Cam Ward were to throw a pick six, he'd be happy about that as well. But right now, JB needs him to throw a first down. That's what JB needs. And so Ward looking, throws it incomplete. Incomplete. So fourth down coming up. So just like that, fourth down. So now we'll see the Atlanta Falcons get ready to bring their special teams out there and presumably get another opportunity on offense. As he said, I couldn't get the brace myself from falling, JB. Said, JB, I fell quicker than the Bulls after Jordan retirement. Coach, another shot fired in Chicago. You need to stop it, RC. Let's see. Black says, I need stick to move the ball. Yeah, move the sticks, right? For your own team. This is insane. Jamie says, I think Laney was married. And so you're asking if Laney was married? Let's see. RC says, sorry, Lewis. All right, so Mike says, anyone seen my man, what's it, just Jan Corbin? Probably demolished his name there, but I would think, would not Corbin be like a second half type of guy? Because I believe that name sounds familiar from like the UFL. I forget which team, but I would think we'd probably see him in the second half. Lewis says, save your money, guys. Don't ever go to Applebee's. Just buffets at casinos. Hey, you get JB to go to one of those all you can eat buffets and stuff, and JB's happy. JB is happy. And so Laney says, no, divorced years ago. And so let's see, RC said, JB, did you ever like Applebee's or Chili's? You said, I feel like it totally nosedive. So Chili's, yes. At one point, way back in the day, when I say way back in the day, we're talking like fresh out of high school, maybe towards the tail end of high school. But even then, it wasn't that I was going that often. But after I really was like, okay, this is not it. This is not the move. Like 20 hit, and all of a sudden common sense started kicking in. Is like, yeah, I'd rather go to TGI Friday than go to Applebee's or something like that. So that's what it became. At least their service is nice. And so, up, I skipped Mike here. Let's see. Mike says Emory Jones is going to come in. He should be coming in around halftime, Mike, because they're really the only two quarterbacks that are going to be playing today for the Atlanta Falcons. So he should get the entire second half to come in, kind of like how they distributed it the last game. So expect him more so like third quarter, fourth quarter to come into the game, I would think, especially fourth quarter. But I would assume at some point in the third. The maybe the chair broke because I'm eating bacon burgers, hot wings, and stuffed crust pizza. Well, dang, RC, you was eating all of that? I need your salary then, RC. I mean, because you're eating nice, like real good. Every time we talk, RC you was at the grill last time, wasn't you? You was at the grill the time before that, man. I mean, shoot. I mean, Joey has nothing on you when it comes to the Nate and hot dogs and stuff like that, bro. I mean, you got it, RC. You got it. Stuffed crust pizza, man. Put that into JB's thoughts. Let's see. Mike says Kyle Pitts should be arrested for 187. He murdered your fantasy team. I could have warned you about Kyle Pitts there. I could have gave you that buyers beware type of thing. All right, third and 16 right now for the Atlanta Falcons when they're on 24-yard line. Lyman got a. I was about to say that was one heck of an early start right there for Atlanta. And you're just gonna let that slide? I think not. He said, JB said, put the hot wings, ribs, and pizza down, put it down, or give it to JB. Especially the latter, give it to JB. And so, Samus, you haven't been to Chili's? Is there no Chili's down there in Mississippi? And she said, Samuel, sit down, eatery, restaurant, thing. And so I thought Samuel's been everywhere. All right, so after that penalty there for the false start, now we're looking at third and 21 here for the Atlanta Falcons here in the second quarter with 14 minutes to go. Down 6-0, throws it. And it's a completion, but I believe it's out of bounds. And yes, he's out of bounds. Fourth down coming up. So the Tennessee Titans will get another opportunity here as their defense clamp down. Mike says they got baby back ribs. You say you want your baby back ribs. So yes, that is true. That is true. Lewis said you need 10 points in this quarter. Now Braden says that he will be drafting Kyle Pitts with his first pick there. So yeah, Braden, or should I say Brayhawk, will be drafting Kyle Pitts with his first pick. So I feel you there. Well, she says, Laney and JB, is Angela Reese out for the season? You heard rumors maybe she might be. I haven't too much heard updates there regarding how long Angela Reese is out. I just knew that she was out for a while. But I assume you would have to think, given their record, it would make sense for her to just sit out the rest of the season, given the record. It's not like Chicago's going anywhere unless JB's just been up under a rock the last couple weeks. But yeah, so I would assume like at this point her season's probably done because like there's no need for her to go out there and just risk aggravating it or triggering a new injury. Just recover and get ready for next year. So I believe the rumors. I believe the rumors. She said, "Great in the video on Jenica Lewis been out. LOL." Blaney says, "Haven't heard any more either." Bet, bet, bet. Has anyone in the chat actually physically been to a WNBA game other than RC? I assume RC, you've gone quite a few times, but other than RC, has anyone else been to a WNBA game in person? Lewis. Like she said, JB, when I fell to the chair, I was about to publish a Hawkeyes video. And so, oh man, they folded quicker than the Iowa Hawkeyes passing game before last year. Dude, the last decade, really. And see, Lewis says, Jesus, Braden. Oh, Braden. Let's see. Let's see. Said JB and Laney. It's four WNBA games on the same time. This is horrible scheduling. Like seriously. RC, tell me, be the light of truth for me here, RC, because I seen it on an article and I can't remember what article I saw it on, but it sounded like it was something that I could not necessarily say was like one of the more concrete, reliable sources. But is it true that the WNBA players turn down like a higher minimum salary offer because they want a little bit more? Again, I just like read an article. They came across my feed earlier today, and then I just glanced at it, so I don't know the full details of it. But it sounded like it would have been a significant pay increase from both minimum and maximum. But do let me know if you've heard anything regarding that. But yeah, scheduling has just been terrible. Like I'm tired of them taking the like, I don't wanna see any more back-to-back UConn games. Imma say that right now. I'm sorry, Connecticut games. I'm thinking I don't wanna see any more Connecticut games back-to-back for the WNBA. Because every time that happens, we already know it's just not gonna happen. We're gonna get a blowout, so please prevent that from happening next year. All right, so Cam Ward looking. Cam Ward throws it. Cam Ward, just take the shorter man. Sometimes it's okay to throw it a little shorter here. I notice on every single play, he's ignoring the running back down low. He's ignoring the tight end. And I get it. You want to move the ball down there deep. It worked in college, but sometimes it's okay to take that shorter pass right now. I thought he did a good job of that in college, honestly, but I feel like right now he's trying to take some deep plays in which, hey, I appreciate the effort, but I need the completions and the yards. He's like 1 of 5 right now for 35 yards. So I need him to get some more completions and move these chains. Phoenix, my bad there, Phoenix. What's good with you? Phoenix says, what's good, JB and members? Said, I've never been to a WNBA game. We got to get Phoenix to a WNBA game. All right, nice time job getting the completion there. Got it almost to the 30-yard line. Let's see where they mark it at. Maybe the 29-yard line. Third down coming up, but a nice completion there. And now let's see if they can move the chain. Phoenix, what would be the closest, let's see, the closest WNBA game team for you and your I've got to think. You see, I've been to a couple of WNBA games, like 4. Okay, which one was your favorite one? Let's see, Braden says JB telling the truth again. Ah, all right, 3rd and 3. Can't believe it. My man committed to Powell in the first. Throws it. Nice throw. Where's the flag? No flag? Okay. Man, these referees have been silent, man. No flag? Okay. Go for it, Tennessee. Just go for it, man. Let's see. Again, looking at that, I guess. I guess. Well, y'all, we got Phoenix in the building. Or she said maybe 5 games you went to. Okay, okay. Let's see. Braden says, "Oh, RC, I watched that video. It was good." And let's see. RC said, "I heard that. I saw similar articles too. I don't know how 100% true that it is. If they legitimately turn that down, it's rather crazy." Okay, so the numbers that I saw, or at least I think I saw, was like, what was that? Like a minimum of like, what was it? Like a minimum of 250,000 a year, like the minimum or something like that, between 250 to like 1 million. I think that's the numbers I saw thrown out there. I could be tripping, but I saw that and I was like, look, even if we think we deserve more, if I'm them, let's go ahead and secure this for right now because the game is growing. So that way, we're not making the same as the guy that's down there, down the street that's, doing whatever. So let's go ahead and change that. But yeah, if it was true, that would have been crazy. But you're right. Most likely probably wasn't true because, like, who's gonna turn down that money at all? I see Black Medicine says, JB, what do you think of the male cheerleader uproar? He says, where I'm from, male cheerleaders are common. Some people have been living under a rock, huh? Question, I've seen what is the Baltimore Ravens now have the most male cheerleaders, I think, on their squad. I think I read, and that is like 19 teams is there that currently have male cheerleaders. So it's definitely on the uptake. And hey, they're just doing what they love. They're doing what they love. Who am I to stop them? I mean, they're not out there, dressed like the other cheerleaders and stuff. So JB's, like, hey, if that's what they want to do and that's what they enjoy to do, it's all about, them doing what they enjoy. So, but you're right. You're right. Like I have seen it common in other places. So you know, pretty used to it at this point. But others maybe not as common. But yeah, I did see that the other day. And he says, "Hey Phoenix." As he says, "Braden, I salute you. I appreciate you. I hope we get Jenica. You say we missed out on the Kate Harpering. She chose North Carolina or went to North Carolina." So Phoenix said he would actually take a trip down to the South to Texas for a WNBA. Okay, okay. So you would watch the Dallas Wings. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. My brother's actually gone to a couple of their games within the past, like, I feel like he's been to at least, I think he's been to one this season, and I feel like maybe two last year, I think. You have to ask him, but I know he's been to a couple. And she says when Candace Parker was on the Sparks, you went to the game. You also went to a game when Kelsey Plum was with San Antonio Silver Stars. How long ago was that, RC? Feel like that one's been probably like a minute. How long ago was that? So you also saw Leah Boston on the Fever the year before Caitlin Clark arrived. Okay, okay, okay. Nice, nice. And you say you saw the Aces game in person. You have not seen a Caitlin Fever game yet. Keyword is yet. Ooh, my, look at this run. Is this the run that Lewis needed? To about the 46-yard line, but there is a flag. There is a flag. Holding on the offense. So that's going to negate what was a wonderful carry. And I know he's looking at that lineman like, man, you guys got to get it together. Might have been a receiver, actually. Oh, yeah, it's on the receiver there. Come on, man. Really? That guy made no effort to get away. But oh well, it is what it is. First and 20. Let's see how things play out. All right, so SM. All right, here we go. He says start bench cut. Steve McNair, Mike Vick, Warren Moon. So oh wow. Well, honestly, I feel like I would almost have to ask you if we're going off of this error, then I can value Mike Vick's running a lot more. But if we're talking about like the errors like years ago, my answer might have been different there. But that being said, though, I mean, and again, that's a great question there. For me, honestly, I probably would go Steve McNair first, Warren Moon second, and then Mike Vick third. That's what I would do. Because I need a passer. I do. I know Mike Vick had moments where he was a great passer, like his time in Philly, that when Andy Reid helped him, bring out that passing game. But other than that, I need consistent passing. D- Drop it in a bucket there. That was a good pass right there. I know Black Medicine wants to choke this man right there because this guy, like, we need some complete. We need some big plays. It's a great question right there, SM. Listen to JB. It's their upper guy. Golly, JB. Corrugated, even NBA 2K games since 2022 have male cheerleaders on there, and so ain't a thing we can do about it. And so, hey, we can do it just adjust to it, adjust to it. I remember this probably was like the end of the era in which like I guess they were strongly against. Because I remember back when the Washington Commanders were actually the Washington Redskins, and I remember, let's see, there was a couple players that were openly speaking out about just like similar type of topics and stuff like that. But that was like the last time I seen NFL players actively speaking like stuff related to this. Ever since then, it's pretty much just been like just fit your fancy, fit your fancy. All right, so Stick on the move. Stick looking. Stick throws it. He threw a pick. He threw a pick. Now wait a minute. There's a penalty. There's a penalty. Who did what, where, and why? But he threw it right to the linebacker. So there had to be a penalty. Lewis said Vic Moon McNair. Okay, okay. RC said 2017 Kelsey Plum in San Antonio, JB. Okay. She said McNair Moon by Mike Vicky. Oh gosh. Phoenix said I did score some MLB Kansas City Royal tickets versus the Tigers. Okay, right behind third base. Okay, Phoenix. I see. Black Mason says minimum 250K is probably good, but the players in the WNBA still receive a smaller cut of the league's revenue. I mean, if you look at what the minimum is now, and RC, if you can remind me what that number is, the minimum now compared to that, that at least puts it to the point where it's like, okay, I can focus only on basketball. Like, yes, I do want sponsorships and stuff, but I'm not out there trying to, find a second income because, let's face it, some of those incomes were very low the last time I researched what some of those players are making. But if that is what your minimum is to where the players on the bench can at least make that, that's at least progress. It's not going to instantly jump to match the NBA. That's not going to happen, but it's a stepping stone because they're getting more views, they're getting more fans. The quality of just, like I'll say the fans just knowing who the players are, that's improving. I'm talking about the casual fans. Of course, the RCs of the world, they know everybody. He can tell me every bench player there is in the WNBA. But for someone like myself who just casually watches from time to time, like I'm starting to realize, certain players, and actually know what they can and can't do. So that's big time, like okay, I see it because it was not like that for me about 5 years ago. All right, got the punt unit coming out here from the Tennessee Titans. Bruh, Cam Ward. Let's stop playing around. Let's go out here and let's get that 56 whatever passing yards. Let's go ahead and get it. But yeah, I feel that frustration. RC says start bench cut. Eddie Jones. All right. Ben Gordon. Good old Ben Gordon. And then Steve Francis. And up, wait a minute. I see we've got solved that one. Let's go with good old Francis start. And then you got Eddie George. I saw Eddie George. I'm sorry, Eddie Jones. And then Gordon. So JB's got to do a little work there. So Black Mesa says stick needs to get to 80, 90 yards for you. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, through the interception yards. If they included interception yards, you'd already be there. So, but unfortunately, they don't do that. Let's see. Phoenix says Tecmo Super Bowl Warren Moon. Warren, I'll take you to the moon. Lewis says, if I could do what those guys do, you said I'd be a cheerleader too and get some ladies. Yes, he'd get the ladies, the drinks, all of that. Sammy says, new game, Madden 26 released yesterday on August Thursday, 14, 2000, I'm sorry, 14, 2025. Did you get it, Samuel? Did you purchase it? Let's see. Blackman says, I'm gonna beat this motherfucker with a stick in a minute. Yes. RC said, Lewis, something tells me those male cheerleaders aren't looking to date pretty women. I did see a couple of the routines for the ones on the Patriots because, like, somehow it came up on the screen there, and I was just like, oh, it's not the case in which Lewis is referring to at all. At all. I was like, does he's dead with that one? Oh, man. RC. All right, so Phoenix says, all right, so Steve Francis, Eddie Jones, and then Gordon. Okay, okay. All right, so it's 66,000. All right, appreciate that, RC. Thanks for the number there. So that's the current minimum salary. So what does that mean for them? That means that JB on a good year makes more than that. So they got to be making more than JB. They're the ones that's actually playing in the game. So, you know, absolutely. If they could raise that bar to 250, I think that's a win, especially if the maximum gets to the 1 million. You want the maximum to probably increase for sure, and it will increase. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things where maybe every 2 years, 3 years, it keeps, improving, improving, improving. Oh man, they took Cam Ward out, man. That's some hater type stuff, man. They took him out. Come on, man. Nobody come to see what's this, White Side or Woodside or whatever. Nobody come to see him. Oh, Brandon Allen, even worse. Even worse. So they took my man Cam Ward out the game, y'all. That'll mess JB up. As you said, the bots want in. They do. They do. They've been very persistent as of late. Lewis says, how about the guy in the movie Dodgeball and Underdog Story? All right. So run play to the left here, take it to the 20-yard line. Man, why couldn't Tennessee just give him one more series, man? But oh well, let's see. So when Vegas decides to step in, nothing to be done. Let's see. Dang it, too. Like, dang it. That means even those that got the line early at like 46, they still did not cash because he finished at 42 yards past and he was 2 of 7. So, dang it. Let's see. RC says start bench cut all before the injuries. All right, so take away the injuries here. Derrick Rose, ooh. Penny Hardaway, Tracy McGrady. Ooh, ooh, this is good. If we're talking 40 injuries, prime for prime there. D Rose was he was up there, man. But I love T Mac too. I like Penny Holiday. I will go. This is very tough here, very tough, extremely tough. Because without the injuries, T Mac was something serious back in the day. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go with my gut here. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna start T Mac. I'm gonna put D Rose on the bench, and gonna be one heck of a bench decision there. And then Penny, you got cut. Maybe he can coach us. Samuel says Madden 26 game for high money price. Samuel said that's a little rich for his blood right there. And she said, JB, side note, what's your thoughts on 66,000 minimum cut rate? Hey, well, I understood it before, but for right now, that minimum has to increase. I feel like that's very low, like very low. So that should have at least been at like that 100,000 mark. And I'm talking about like just off of previous years. Now more like 250,000. But yeah, that's got to increase. All right, pass there for the Titans. Takes it all the way to the 42-yard line of the Tennessee Titans. SM understands very well how it works. Vegas made the call. And when Vegas calls, teams listen. Like I'll never forget. I think it was last year. It's funny I say I never forget, then I say I think, but it was either last year or the year before. And I had took the over on golly, who's the Cleveland Browns running back that took over last year and the year before whenever Nick Chubb got hurt. I forget. I can't think of his name right now. I know his name. I can't think of it right now. But I took the over on him. Jerome Ford. Yeah, I took the over on him. And all he needed was like 3 carries in the second half to go over. The Browns were winning. They wanted to run the ball. He was their offense. Vegas made the call, and my man Kareem Hunt went in there and had like 6 carries for like 6 yards, and they did not once put him back in the game. And he was not injured, did not show up on the injury list or nothing. So when Vegas makes the call, they make the call, and there's nothing you can do about that. The JB, all they have to say is we're not paying for less than 1 or 2 mil per year. And so that would be one heck of a strikeout, but they've got some momentum now. They've got more leverage than they've ever had. Lewis says he would go with D Rose, McGrady, and then Hardaway. Okay. Black Medicine says these offenses are today. Oh man, if it wasn't for the fact that Lewis had took the over in this one, I thought heavily that this game would be an under. When I saw these two teams there, I figured it would be an under type of game. But Lewis took the over, so we root the over here. But man, this is tough. I mean, they had some big key moments. It's just they can't put it together at all. I mean, why put in Brandon Allen? Just give Cam Ward till halftime was all I was asking for. He said, JB Lewis, let's run it back. You say straight bench cut. Keep D Rose, Penny, and Brandon Roy. Okay, so Brandon Roy in the mix. He was a problem back in the day. He was a problem. Brandon Roy, I remember that. I remember that. Well, in that case, there, then I'm going to be starting D Rose there. I'm gonna put in my boy. Now we're talking without the injuries here. I'm putting my boy Brandon Roy, then put in Penny. I feel like I'm disrespecting Penny on everybody. It's like always, but he's getting cut again. All right, so what are the Falcons challenging here? I was too busy looking at the comment section here. What are the Falcons challenging here? Can't believe it, man. Cam Ward. Dang it. I'm sorry, I didn't even read that, did I? Phoenix says, okay, so Rose shoes, you took Penny shoes, T Mac shoes. You had them. So Phoenix said he had them all. He caught them all. Okay. Okay. Essam says that Brandon Ward was a problem back in the day. RC said it's not easy, but you start Roy. Okay. Bench Rose. And unfortunately, you got to cut Penny. So Penny keep getting cut. Brandon says start Rose, bench Penny, and then cut Roy. And so Lefty, what's good with you? What's good with you? He says, "What up, JB?" And so, hey, JB's just living life here, enjoying a Friday here. We're about what halfway through the month almost, and so, hey, that means we're getting a lot closer to the regular season. That makes JB happy. So yeah, JB is good. What's good with you? And hey, tell the Vikings, that there's no need to go out there and just keep, trying to fight our coach, and just rough us up in practice. Like we're trying to improve. Let's see. Brayhawk says Cam Ward not playing well. Not well enough. I mean, don't get me wrong. He did good. He did good, but he took too many deep shots when all he had to do was just take a couple underneath routes and he could have secured the bag for JB, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it, Brayhawk. Right, should be a first down. Should be a first down. Just didn't do it. But nah, I mean, I saw some good things in a couple of those plays. He needed his receivers to help him out, but ultimately in this league, you got to have a balance. Not just only looking deep, but also get some of the underneath stuff as well. He says bench cut Gary Payton, John Morant, and Tim Holiday. Can we put my boy Morant? Now, are we talking like a fight or something like that? If we're talking fight and stuff like that, and he's got that gun on him, sure. But no, that being said, though. I'm start Gary. Gotta start Gary. Second, mm, I'm trying to not judge Morant for all the time that he's missed in the NBA and just him at his peak. Him at his peak, he's gonna be on my bench. If we're talking like at his peak, he'll be on my bench. Tim Hardaway will be, coming off the well, he won't be coming off nothing. He'll be cut. He'll be cut in that scenario. So yeah, basically how it's listed is how they would be. Gary start, Jaw off the bench. But hey, all it takes is him to start acting crazy with those gun celebrations one time too many, and then that can probably change. Samuel, he's got cooking on the brain here. Allen throws a pick. Will we get another pick six? Is that how we're gonna score today? And he goes down to 26-yard line. Wow. Here in the second quarter with 2 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Lefty says Drake made some good plays yesterday during those joint practices. Oh, really? That's great. That's great because all that I've been hearing so far from every Patriot reporter prior to today has been that we've been getting tossed around by the Minnesota Vikings. That's what it sounds like so far. It's been happening in practice that we've just been getting tossed around. It's like all that momentum we had against the Commanders. It's like you guys knocked it out of us like Mario coins just being knocked out. But that's good to see that Drake May's making some good plays out there. I'm happy for that. All right, so Samuel said your mom's cooking hot dogs now. Hey, that's what's up, Samuel. That's what's up. That's what's up. About how many hot dogs do you typically eat? Peyton, bench, Morant, and then cut Harden. Okay. Listen says the same thing. Gary Payton, Jaw, about stick. Trying to move the stick, won't move the stick there, but at least not the direction he intended to, because there was a hold. I believe they put Eaton Stick's Russian stat line at about what was it at? I think it's like 7.5 or 8.5, something like that. Could even be 9.5, but he's definitely well up under that thanks to the penalty bringing that back. So if you took his rushing stat, you're feeling better. Now, if you took his passing stat, you want to pull this man by his hair right now. See, Brayhawk says, JB, how do you think Julian Sand will play this season? I am hyped for him. I'm excited to see what he's up. I think he's going to do very good. I mean, after all, you've got a lot of talent around you. He's a talented individual. I've been waiting for Julian to get his chance here, so I'm hyped for it. I think it'll be not quite as good as maybe CJ Stroud's freshman year was that year, but considering how long Sayan's been there, I think something similar to that type of season, but just a little less like not as good as what CJ Stroud's, first year was, but somewhere around that. We're gonna have to really rely on our running backs as well this year. But I think that my question is for him, just how clutch is he? How is he in a clutch moment? Because that's been the only thing that has irked me about different Ohio State quarterbacks lately is that they'll play good until we need it against a certain team at the end of the year. And then it's like all of a sudden they just don't come up clutch in some of those moments. So I need him to be clutch. That's my only question mark for him. Can he be clutch in a big time situation? He's gonna figure that out early in the season. Phoenix starting the glove. Gary Payton, there it is. Lewis says, Nike's still in the league. Bray Hawk has to laugh at that. Lewis says he's gonna start Hardaway. Okay. Bench Payton. And then John Morant, aka Moron, getting cut. All right, feeds it to the back here in the back. Takes to the 38-yard line. Big medicine says someone in the audience there. Cameraman picked up on that. Greyhawk says the only good quarterback named Allen is Josh Allen. And so, you know what? You know what? Yeah. Unless another quarterback comes to mind, yeah. All right, 3rd and 21. How many times have we seen the Falcons in 3rd and long? I guess the completion there, well, that at least allowed them to bring out Koo. And that was to Blair with the reception. So let's see. She says, JB, start, bench, cut. Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Brett Favre. Well, I mean, that's a good question there, RC. It's a very good question. I would say, honestly, I would have to start Drew Brees. The numbers don't lie, and Drew Brees, he's gotten Super Bowls just as Brett Favre has, but Drew Brees, he puts up numbers. I saw him do it with 2 different teams at a high level. Again, not saying that Favre didn't do that, but Drew Brees definitely gets the start. Backup wise, I'm gonna say because I really don't want to say cut Josh Allen. I really don't want to say it. But I mean, again, Brett Favre, the longevity, the championships, the different phases, even when he this career with the Minnesota Vikings there. I gotta give it to Brett Favre there because the only one here that has not won a Super Bowl in this list that you mentioned is Josh Allen. Now his story's not done, but as of right now, he's the only one that doesn't have a championship. So give me the 2 quarterbacks that have gotten championships, not to mention how long they played as well. So I'll go with that. So again, start Drew Brees, bench Brett Favre, and he's going to stay on that bench for a little bit because he likes to turn the ball over from time to time. But got to cut Josh Allen for now. And so Black Man says, pause question. I'm sorry, what kicker is this? All right, she says, Lewis says, moron. Greyhawk says he's going to start Breeze, bench Favre, and then cut Allen for now. Keyword is for now. Greyhawk says, Will Howard came up clutch last season in the Natty. Yes, but I needed it against a certain team as well. But you're right. But hey, the entire Buckeye team caught fire at the right time. That's just the case of getting hot at the right time. and playing our best football at the right time. I've seen teams that peak too early, Oregon, but yeah, some teams peak too early. We peaked at the right time, and I feel like that's a skill that I've seen utilized by both, like during our hay years, the Patriots, during the Chiefs, best years. Some teams know to get hot at the right time and how to do that. It's so important. Nancy Samuel says next month, soon, September. But yeah, Will Howard did come up clutch there. He did. He did. And I appreciate it. I needed it. Man, I can just take the Tennessee Titans coach and just, hmm. You see, Lewis says that he's going to start the Green Bay player, then he'll bench Breeze, and then he'll cut Allen. So far, Lewis said he's going to stick with the Green Bay guy, Minnesota Viking guy. Dang, Lewis. So he played for two teams that you despise. But yet he said, hey, give Favre his props. See, Sammy says, hey, JB, I think you say big gas station name is Bugsy in Dallas, Texas. And so, well, I've not passed that one yet. Leslie Black Mason says, cut Favre instantly just to get him out of the state and away from our medic programs. I knew you were going to do it. I knew you were going to do it. See, Lewis says, oh, a wannabe game seven, you need a savior. Kobe, Iverson, LeBron. It's game seven. I'm sorry, winnable. Why did I say wannabe? Winnable game seven. All right, if it's a winnable game seven here, I gotta go with my boy Kobe. I've got to. I've got to. It's the whole Mamba mentality. That's what it's all about. Game on the line, and you telling me that he knows that all he has to do is win this one, and his team either gets the trophy or advance. You know Kobe's coming through for that. You know he is. That being said, though, I mean, Bron in a game seven, I mean, if you give me Ray Allen or you give me Anthony Davis or you give me a co-star with him, then maybe I'll consider in that point. But I know Kobe's going to go and get his. He's going to go get his. And Iverson, eight. Iverson, I like AI as well. I just love Kobe better. And I'm not even being biased by saying this. About Tennessee runs the ball again. Dang, things were excited when Cam Ward was in there. Damn, the way the cookie crumbles. See. Phoenix is like, hey, that's my amigo. Okay, bet. Fuck E. As it says Favre, Allen, Breeze. Okay, so you would cut Breeze. Okay, bet. It also depends for me what type of offense I'm trying to run as well, but absolutely. See, Brandon says, I wonder who that team is. Don't think on it too hard, Braden. Don't think on it too hard there. It says, yeah, JB saw Will Howard become a man last year at the end. Yeah, at the end, just when JB was thinking, oh man, here we go again. Because JB had just gave, I remember we were doing our stream with me, old man, and Zoe, and like we were talking about Will Howard and Zoe. I'm sorry, old man was very frustrated with both, whether it was Will Howard, whether it was Ryan, especially Ryan Day. He was very upset with Ryan Day. And I remember I defended Ryan Day because I was like, I don't feel like this is a Ryan Day problem and stuff like that. I really didn't feel like it was a Ryan Day problem. And so, but I didn't have anything to really base it off of at that time because things were not looking the best. But hey, they got it together. They proved JB to be right, and here we go. So instead of firing him, he's back again. The RC. Sad about that, Brayhawk. Let's see. RC said, halfback. You say, who is the Ohio linebacker who got drafted? You can't think of his name. And so the Ohio State linebacker that got drafted there, let's see, because I keep thinking about our ends, but our linebackers there, I can get this for you one second. I mean, we had like, like 14 players drafted. So forgive me, I got to go through and remember them all. But you may be talking about Cody Simmons. I'm sorry, Cody Simon. Cody Simon. If we're talking linebacker, Cody Simon. See, Samuel said, "Hey, JB, you have an iPod?" And so, oh, for sure, for sure. She said, "I mean defensive end, not linebacker for the Buckeyes, JB." I mean, hey, we got them all. RC, you want DB, you want linebacker, we can go through them all. But it was. Let's see, we had number 33, Jack Sawyer. We had him, and we also had number 44, JT Tuamola Tuamolio, however you say his last name. JB's not about to sit here all day for that. But yeah, number 33 and number 44, both of those guys made key impacts there on that defensive line. They both got drafted. So yeah. Because again, the Buckeyes had like 14 players drafted. So it says, JB, rank your teams: Patriots, Ohio State Buckeyes, and Lakers. Ooh, Lewis is gonna make me do it. Lewis is gonna make me do it. Gotta say, oh man, it's like 1A and 1B. It's like Patriots and Ohio State is almost exactly the same for me. There was a time where I used to have the Patriots slightly ahead. I guess you can say during our winning days where they were slightly ahead and stuff. But I feel like they're almost exactly even right now, but probably by a milli inch. I would say Patriots, then Ohio State Buckeyes, and then a long distance behind the Lakers. So yeah, Patriots first, Ohio State, very close, and then pause, 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 let it marinate. All right, now Lakers. So that's how it is for me because my love for football is much higher than my love for basketball. RC says, I think he got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh no. Black Mesa says, Ole Miss is hard as hell on coaches. And so, yeah, yeah. I want to say Ole Miss, old man. And so, old man is ready. Old man's like, look, if you don't come out here and you don't perform, you're gone. Because he was like, Ryan Day stayed there long enough. But I actually learned from what Michigan did with Jim Harbaugh, where if you give a guy long enough, which is something that teams don't do anymore, they can sometimes turn that curve. Sometimes they do. Now, will that happen for Penn State? No. But in Penn State, anyone else is a fair shot. I wonder if Brian Kelly regrets leaving Notre Dame. I wonder if he realizes how hard it is life in the SEC now. He said, yeah, Jack Sawyer, that's his name. Bet, bet, bet. Let's see, thing says Lewis Nice for JB. And so, yeah, he put JB on the spot there. The Oh man, like I was so excited when Cam Ward was in there, but now it's like now that Allen's in there, it's like I get it, he had to play, but they could have waited till halftime. They know the people wanted to see Cam Ward go out there and shine. Says, hey JB, look at the new 2025 iPod Air 13-inch. Okay, bet, bet. All right. Allen throws it. Guess that's a completion. Let's see. RC says, JB, that's a totally random collection of teams to cheer for: Ohio State, New England, the Lakers. And so, well, I can definitely explain how that took place, RC. I can definitely explain how that took place if you want to hear how I selected those teams. But there's a little bit of method to the madness, a little bit. But you're right, completely random. But hey, I'm proud that I've always stuck with those teams. I've never, gone away from those teams. I've always stuck with all those teams. Lewis says Phoenix. He'll take a shot for that. As he says, So says the guy in RC who roots for Iowa, UCLA, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Timberwolves, Cowboys, Vikings. Oh man, that's some list you got there, RC. Glenn throws it, gets the completion. It says, JB, what would it take for you to have a WNBA team to root for? And who would be your team if you had to pick a franchise? Ooh, what would it take for JB to select a WNBA team? See, I feel like what team do I currently like the most at this moment? I've actually always gone off of a how can I put it? I've always gone off of a game by game situation, just how I felt pre-game during that time. But in terms of what would it take there, that's a good question. Let's see. Again, we've got just 38 seconds before halftime, so we're basically almost at halftime. Lewis, your over is in some severe doubt right now. But let's see. I would have to say, trying to think, what team do I root for? All right, so if I were to pick a WNBA team, I think I would go with I think I would go with Golden State. I feel like I would go with Golden State just because with them being a newer team, so it's like, okay, being a part of that history that they're building there. They've got some likable players on the team also. I've watched probably a good amount of their games this season, and I'm never bored or upset when I see them play. So players like Veronica Burton, all that great stuff. So I'd say, yeah, I'd say Golden State probably would be the team, the WNBA team that I would choose. All right. Allen throws it. It's going to be a touchdown. So good job for them. Black Manson says all the air has left the room now. It's not the case though. Because like if Cam Ward would have thrown that, I'd be jumping up and down right now. That would be a great weekend. But it didn't happen. And it says, hey RC, I think wing at Chili's. Let's see. It says JB wants to. Oh man. Lewis is like Lewis is like black medicine. I great minds think alike. VRC says Boston would get penalized if they wanted the Connecticut Sun to relocate to Boston. JB, they'd have to pay a higher price to get a team relocated because they never applied during expansion draft. That's right. And then to be continued there. But before we get there, Lewis is like black medicine. That's what he was thinking. She said, continued for a team, Boston probably might have to take the hit. I tried to apply for expansion and next. I say wait for the next go round, but I'm happy to see that they are, wanting to get a team there. But we'll see how that plays out. As she says, Samuel, I have some Popeyes on the table. I haven't ate yet though, and so now RC, how long have they been on the table now? You've always been a man of timely, consistently ensuring that that chicken does not get cold, man. And I know you will not let me down by letting that chicken get cold. But speaking of chicken, what is everybody's top three like chicken brand or chicken restaurants that serve chicken? Top three restaurants that serve chicken. Let's see. Black Mesa said it's so odd I can't see RC comments there. And so, oh really? Is it not showing? That's crazy. Yeah. Is everyone else able to see? I guess RC's comments. And again, there's still 31 seconds here. Black Medicine, did the Falcons convert Felipe Franks to a tight end? Because I keep seeing Franks, and for some reason I feel like it has to be Felipe Franks. Oh, what a deep shot. This is for Black Medicine. If he gets it in just like that, it's that's all it was, just a shot. Well, Guess it wouldn't matter anyways. We can't avoid being on the bench. But Lewis says, all right, so Lewis took the first crack at it. He said Popeyes first, KFC second, and then Browns. Okay, 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 Lewis, a man of culture. I'm sorry, hold on. Samuel said, so you can't see RC comments either? That's interesting considering that RC is a mod also. It's like, that's interesting. Looking to throw, gets a completion, brought down at the 40-yard line. Black Medicine says, yes, I found that out in this game. And so bet, bet, bet. All right, so first timeout called here by Atlanta. Okay. Again, the score right now, Tennessee 13, Falcons 3. If the Falcons can get a touchdown or get some points here, we might have a little shot here, Lewis. We might. And so no, because Lewis is still Lewis. I mean, I'm sorry, not Lewis. RC is still here. Let's see. Lewis says y'all blocked RC, and so y'all got me thinking that JB is tripping here. So let's see. Brayhawk, are you here? Is it you, Brayhawk, that did it to RC? But no, I mean, you guys can't see it on the screen right here because, like, it should be blocking me right now as I speak. That is insane, though. Like, but yeah, y'all should be able to see it. But let me know if y'all still don't see it because we gotta figure this one out. Let's see. So RC says St. Louis, Nashville, Charlotte, Kansas City, Denver, and Miami are all ahead in the push for an expansion team next year. JB, you said next year Portland and Toronto will officially join the WNBA as franchises. Samuel asks, "What is Browns?" Browns, a Cleveland football team. No, I'm just kidding. But Phoenix says, "My cooking skills, okay, grilling chicken thighs, barbecue smoker wings, barbecue smoker whole chicken." Phoenix says he's got it all. He's got the playbook. He says, "Who needs a restaurant when you've got these mad skills?" Let me see. If I were to, let's see, but no, because like it's not showing anything different on my end. Let's see. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna star one of his comments and see if maybe that makes it visible. If not, I have no idea, guys. Like, no idea. Like, so Stick was good last game, but he's asking this one. And so, oh, no doubt, no doubt. She says, Lewis, they hate me. Like when rent is due. All right, so he's just not showing up in the comments, which is weird. I see him on my end on the comments, like looking on the other comments outside of what's on the screen. But that's crazy. Black Medicine is just not in the comments here. Let's see. And you're a mod also, Black Medicine, so you should definitely be able to see RC. I have no idea why that is. Yeah, on your RC, they hating on you. He said, never heard of that restaurant. He says smokers are top tiers. And so there it is. RC says, not next year, but they are on the list of teams. You say after Toronto and Portland join next year. I believe Philadelphia and Detroit arrives in 2028. That's 2029. So that's hey, that's big movements all around here for the W. By the time we get to 2030, the W as we know it will be completely different. Does that mean by the time we get to 2030 RC that there's going to be a lot more WNBA games? And will we ever reach the point where perhaps the W will have almost as many games as the NBA has? Do you feel like that they should increase the amount of games played? I mean, everybody would like that increase minus Tina Charles. I feel like she would hate all those back-to-back games, but it's not like she would play. Let's see. Black Medicine says, I think we might have hit him by accident during the block fest for the bots. It's a user error thing, I'm sure. All right, so y'all, You know what I'm saying? You think your boy JB? Not no, because when someone gets like banned and stuff like that, just like the bots, like they won't be able to appear on the screen at all, or either we'll see like it'll show that they've been removed and stuff like that if somebody gets blocked. And I'm looking at my options now, so he's not put in timeout or nothing because I wouldn't be able to see it there either. So I have no, but there could have been some type of other setting that I just don't know. But yeah, that's wild. Like this is a perfect pull here. So see how gone like that, but I still see that it says that, such and such that that bot was banned and the comments were removed. I see that. But that's wild though. That's wild. All right. It just says that means I can talk crazy to Samuel Braden and Black Medicine and get away with it, JB. Not quite. Sammy says, "See you soon. He's gonna go get some food." Okay, bet, bet, bet. RC says, "JB, they can't increase them too much because they'll end up competing against the NFL and NBA, and that can be really tough sledding." Hey, that's the dilemma, right? And so, hey, a Dixon Way raid. What's good with you guys? Breezy 15, Atlanta coming through. What's good with you? What's good, Prime? And he said the Dixon Way coming through for the raid. Appreciate you guys coming through. How are you guys doing on a Friday? Lewis says, how many WNBA games will you bet this season? Not the question, because I feel like there's very little else to bet on there. The CFL has lost me when it comes to bet. And so, Bobby, what's good? Dixon Way Raid, what's good with you? Magic Man, hey, what's good? What's good? Cheers to you. Cheers to you. Black Mesa says, not you. But you said, I mean, us who can't see him probably did it by mistake. And so it would have had to been a mod that would have done it, which would have narrowed this down to either you or Lewis Braden at that point. It would have been. But even so, it would have alerted me that somebody did it. It would have alerted me. And so Samuel says, long time to 2030? Bet, bet, bet. And so, yes, we got a raid. The first raid of the year, I believe. Yes. Bobby says Dixon Way raid. Yes. Appreciate you guys coming through. Again, you guys, the real MVPs. And the Dixon Way himself coming through saying, great stream. Shout out to you and your crew. What's good with you? Thanks for coming through and showing some love. Black man says, Atlanta folks in the raid. Yes, right? Feels at home, doesn't it? Feels at home. Yes. And so Morgantron doing good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yes, absolutely. RC says, I can see their comments, JB. So isn't that weird? And so yeah, like, yeah, I don't even know if there is a setting to where you'd be able to see. Well, you probably would be able to see their comments still in that case. So, but yeah, that is weird though. That is weird. You're like, I'm literally, it's like being invisible. You can see them, but they can't see you. So that's crazy. Phoenix says, hit that like button. Appreciate that, Phoenix. Samuel says, "What up, bro? Yo, Dixon Way Raid and they're in company." And so, Magic Man, yes, it has been a minute. And it's yes, I'm glad to be back streaming. You say also, boo Ohio State, New England. Come on now, Magic Man, you didn't do that now, but I get it though. I get it. How you feeling about your teams though? How are you feeling about your teams? And let's see. It says like button done. Appreciate that and appreciate you, Prime. Thanks for coming through. And Black Medicine says, God bless this man. Yes, 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 yes. But man, it's glad to see it. Glad to see it, man. Football season is definitely in like almost at full effect, man. Almost at full effect. Absolutely love to see it. And thankful for the preseason because if you guys can't tell, JB's voice is like teetering on that line. So I've got to get used to projecting my voice again. Because I remember, you guys remember when that one raid came in last year that was like super long, and it was like JB tried to go through each and every comment, but man, took up maybe the entire half for JB to go through the entire comments, and even then JB was getting blown in the dust that game. Like my voice was about to give out. Lewis says, "Hope I didn't do it while drunk texting." You know what? Might have been Lewis. It might have been Lewis. All right, so Magic Man says, you're feeling good about the Packers, unsure about the Hurricanes, and you're dreading the Badgers' schedule. And so, oh man. And so, to dive in a little bit more about the Hurricanes, because I saw in the AP poll, the Miami Hurricanes were ranked number 10. Now, Mr. JB, you may want to cover your ears. You may want to cover your ears. But for everybody else, I was thinking to myself, like, look, like, I get it. Like, I agree they should be ranked somewhere in that top 20. But I personally thought that being ranked number 10, just because we don't know what version of Carson Beck they're going to get. And even so, with a guy like Cam Ward, he had to cover so many holes last year. They lost so many pieces. How much improved is this defense really going to be? That we're going to have to find out. We're going to have to find that out. Now your Packers, hey, they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot. Now the Badgers. I haven't looked at the Badgers schedule, but who are some of their, I guess, earlier big games that they got coming up? If you happen to know that by heart for the Badgers in terms of who they've got coming up. I feel like the Badgers, though, like last year, didn't the Badgers play the Oregon Ducks like extremely well? Took them all the way to that late fourth quarter. And I was over there looking like, okay, they're gonna do it, right? They're gonna do it, right? Right? So, they didn't do it, and I was let down by that. But it was a hard-fought game. I don't know how many returning starters they have, but I would have to think that they've got a good amount coming back. So, it'll be interesting to see how the Badgers look this year. You say Alabama and Oregon, so that game last year against Oregon, I believe that was what? That was in Oregon, wasn't it last year? Or was it down there in Wisconsin? Where was that game at last, or where will it be at this year, more importantly? And you say, "Ooh, Alabama? Ooh." So Black Medicine, how do they always pit your 2 teams against each other? I feel like they randomly find a way to squeeze in and put your 2 teams against each other in Alabama and Wisconsin. How do they do that? I'll never know. She took that one against, Oregon 'cause I remember that one vividly. Me, Black Medicine, we were all rooting for Wisconsin to come through, and they just fell short. The So disappointing. In Oregon last year. Well, at least this year it'll be at home. So if it's close, maybe that crowd will give them that extra push. And besides, quite frankly, I don't even know how good Oregon's going to be this year. I mean, they'll be good. They always bring in talent, but will they be the same level good? Doubt it. But we'll see. She says start, bench, cut, trade. Okay, so we added a fourth one there. Reggie Bush, Matt Forte, Ricky Williams, Ezekiel Lee. That's a good one right there, RC. That's a good one right there. So Imma say this, Imma say this. So, golly, because like at the NFL level, I would end up having to. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to end up cutting Reggie Bush if we're talking about the NFL level. I'm going to cut him. I'm going to trade Ezekiel Elliott. Don't know what I'm gonna get back in exchange, but I'm gonna trade him. I'm going to start Ricky Williams because Ricky Williams at his peak was like tremendous. He got tired of carrying the Dolphins, and back then I can understand that. And then Matt Forte just so consistently good. So I'm gonna start Ricky Williams. I'm gonna bench Matt Forte. I'm gonna trade Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm gonna cut Reggie Bush unless we're talking college. Then that'll be different. The Black Medicine says they work hard to damage my Wisconsin in the polls by putting them against Bama. And so I mean, it's like guys, just don't play them. Like this would have been a perfect time for Wisconsin to go out there and just play someone else. Try LSU, try someone else. But nah, I give them credit for trying though. As he said, JB, take your time and think it through unless you don't need to. And so yeah, I mean Bush. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I just felt like Bush, what his best season Reggie Bush had was like what, barely cracking 1,000 yards on the ground. And every highlight I think of Reggie Bush involves, somebody on the Eagles knocking him out. So that's why he got cut for me. Cause like, yeah. See, Lewis says start Forte. Somehow I knew you were gonna do that, Lewis. Somehow I knew you were gonna do that. Says Bush second and then Williams third. Sammy said, you think you fell asleep there? Hey, it's a Friday night, Samuel. You should be getting ready for a party or something. Lewis says trade Zeke. And so I think we agree that Zeke would be the one to trade there, especially if, they don't know the fall off that's about to happen for Zeke. Trade him before the fall off, like right after the first 2 years in the league, right when he starts asking for that new contract, trade him. Trade him. I'll even throw in Melvin Gordon in that trade also, if it helps improve what I get back in return. The Magic Man says Wisconsin has been driving the struggle bus since they got Cincinnati's coach. He tried to turn him into a passing team. He failed. They aren't that. They aren't even a running team anymore. He did mess that up. That was one thing you used to always consistently know about Wisconsin is that they were going to have linemen for days and that they were going to have running backs and fullbacks for the ages. But he tried to make them a passing team and it failed. And he ruined the good thing that they had. So now they're a tweener. They don't do anything good. Like there's no specialty on that offense at all. I mean, other than occasionally, I think you guys still produce tight ends. I think. I think. I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna change because I saw the fight in the line become irrelevant for the first time since Juice Williams. I almost said Juice World, but Juice Williams. So that tells you how long the fight in the line have been out of it. But the fact that they were able to be competitive the way they were, the fact that Indiana they pulled themselves out of the abyss to become competitive again. So Wisconsin can do it. They just got to do it. They just got to do it. Got to rebuild the culture. Samuel says Laney's catching up on some sleep. Laney's like, no. Arcee said, I think you made the most of that one, JB. And so I did my best. I did my best. You see, you like Bush in college too? Oh yeah, him, Lindell White, Matt Leinart, loved them in college, but once they got to the NFL, I realized I think that's what really made me realize the difference between the NFL and college back then. Is like, all right, so I was certain that Reggie Bush was going to be like a big time star. And don't get me wrong, he was a starter, just not a star. But he played an important role in the Saints, capturing that Super Bowl. This message says Buford High spent 2 million on their high school stadium. You mean to tell me 60 million on a high school stadium? What? Now, how many WNBA player salaries could we have paid with that 60 million that went to that high school stadium? Tell me that. How many WNBA salaries could we have actually covered with that 60 million right there? RC, I'll leave the math to you. I believe in you. Meanwhile, the second half started. Already the referee throwing penalties out there, holdings. The referee clearly took the under in this one. Laney said, "Hey Samuel, I had to take the dog out before it starts to raining." Laney's like, "Yeah, he did not fall asleep. Had to take the dog out." Again, what kind of dog do you have, Laney? And how old is your dog? RC said Mystic 61, Fevers 56. Lewis says a franchise you would invest money in Chicago Cubs, New York Yankees, LA Lakers, Kansas City Chiefs. Ooh, invest money in. I would have to say, once upon a time, that question could have possibly have been the Yankees, but again, that was way back when. But the Lakers are going to be here forever because even when the Lakers do bad, we still get talked about so much. It annoys me almost sometimes that we stay in the spotlight, even if it's supposed to be someone else's turn. But the Lakers will stay in the spotlight. Kansas City's having their moments now, but will Kansas City still be Kansas City 10 years from now? Will they still be as relevant? Probably not. But the Lakers 10 years from now, they will continue to still be very relevant. So I got to go with that. I got to go with that. But that's my pick there. Let's see. She said somebody just got an 8-second violation of the Mystics trying to slow stroll it across the timeline. Let's see. Baby loves Matt Leinart. Only RC. Black Mesa says that damn Arthur Blank. Oh man. Let's see. RC said, JB, why don't you like your hometown teams? Ooh. Well, honestly, for me, I've always been one that, I've always been like, well, my hometown team, they're not out here cutting me checks and stuff like that. So I'm like, I wanted to pick a team that I resonated with, and the hometown team, just hearing because it irked me to see people that have no knowledge of the team whatsoever, just screaming for a team that they have no idea who the starting quarterback was. Growing up in the Miami Dolphins, people had no idea at the time that Jay Fiedler, AJ Feely, that was who their quarterback was. They just knew that they had a running back named Ricky Williams, and they just knew that Dan Marino played for the Miami Dolphins at one point in time. That's all they knew. They had no other NFL knowledge to where it irked me to where it's like, okay, okay, I don't want to talk with you guys. I want to have intelligent conversations here. So I'm just going to pick a team so I don't have to deal with this fan base. Matter of fact, let's pick a team that beats up this fan base. Yeah. Patriots, they just out of military, just kick a game winning field goal against them. Perfect. Let's go ahead, become a Patriot. That's how I did it. The snowplow game, Patriots versus Dolphins, made me a Patriot. So believe me, man, them trying to fill the shoes of Dan Marino, crazy time, crazy times. Like you said, JB, he was a horrible quarterback. Facts, straight fact. All right, gives it to the receiver there on the end around, and the receiver, all right, picks up some yards here. Second down coming up. Again, the score right now, Tennessee 13, Falcons 3. We would love to see some scoring happen. We really would. Lewis says, no, JB likes Eli. Absolutely not. Not Eli Manning, not Eli Apple. I'm not too fond. I can't think of an Eli that I like. Samuel says, hey, Eulani, is that Texas? He says, Miami been garbage since Marino left. So, yeah, I mean, they've had a couple exceptions, like that one year that Bill Parcells found a way to work with Chad Pennington and company, and they bust out the Wildcat. Other than that, Tua's been life, which is why I don't understand why Tua doesn't get more love from Dolphin fans. Because before Tua, he's the best quarterback that they've had since Dan Marino. And so that may not be saying much, but he's the best quarterback they've had, and this is the best offense that they've had since Dan Marino. So I would have thought that Tua would get a little bit more love, but after the first year of becoming back relevant, they was like, all right, that's not enough. My man's got to go out here and actually win us some playoff games, which I get that. You play to win the game. But still, I thought he'd get a little bit more love. I can understand 49er fans not appreciating Brock Purdy because they're used to having quarterbacks come in and go, and so they just care about championships. But for Miami, I feel like they should have appreciated Tua a little bit more. Let's see, Black Medicine says that sounds like Cowboy fans. Lewis says Fitzpatrick was okay in Miami. That's right. That's right. They did have Fitzpatrick, and which he was on my fantasy team the moment that they benched him in favor of Tua. And you talking about somebody was upset when they benched him because I didn't have a backup plan at quarterback. He was doing just fine for my fantasy team when they benched him and then went to Tua. And then Black Medicine ran and picked up Tua before I could pick up Tua from our free agency that year in fantasy football. He was okay with Miami. Oh, we got a touchdown. We got a touchdown. All of a sudden, we start talking about Tua and Fitzpatrick. Now they score a touchdown. So Atlanta scored. As you said, third quarter ends with the Fever leading 64-62, and a Fever player makes a third quarter buzzer beater three. Are you kidding me? Buzzer beater. Who was the player? See, Greyhawk says, been a great game, RC. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The Cowboys 45, Eagles 21 on opening night. Big victory over Super Cereal Bowl champion Eagles. Now that's a bold prediction right there, RC. That's a bold prediction. Blackman says the infamous trade crisis. You created the need for the crisis. Your swift move, because that's when I realized that Black Medicine notifications were before mine. Because before I realized what had happened, I saw that notification that two had been picked up, and I knew something was wrong. You ever get that gut feeling that says, like, oh man, something bad just happened? My fantasy team was going through it, and I didn't even know it in time. He didn't even need Tua on his team. But she says, Brayhawk, I'm cheering for Lucy Olson and Sonia Citron and a fever too. Because remember when Fitzpatrick got pulled by the face mask and still completed the pass? Yes, now that you mention it, I remember that. I remember that. You have to love the dedication. He's like, it don't matter if my face mask pulled or not. I'm gonna get JB those fantasy points. I appreciated it. The man knew what he was doing. Lewis says, let's go. He'll drink to that. Yes, let's go. That's now 23 points. So now, Lewis, if we can get another quick score in there, hey, we'll be looking good. She says, okay, so Demiris Dantes hit the three at the buzzard. Okay, okay, okay. That's what's up. Brayhawk says, yeah, RC, I'm kind of become a Mystics fan because of their rookies. They've got some good ones. They've got some good ones. Yeah, great. That is the team that JB, I think I'm going to officially adopt that team as my team. Perhaps. I think so. I think so. I think so. Let's see. Lucy hasn't played that much tonight. She says, Greyhawk, what do you think about Sophie Cunningham? Good old Sophie. She said, JB, my Las Vegas Aces have won 5 straight games and will try to make it 6 tonight. What is your final score projection? Goodness says, Chief, the Draymond Green of the WNBA when it comes to talking. Oh, wow. I don't know. Was that the first thing that came to mind for me? I don't maybe I need to watch more. That's interesting. Sammy says, hey JB, I'm at Elvis Week, August 8th through the 16th. And so okay, so tomorrow's the last day down there in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, bet. Samuel, I heard that you can sing. I heard that you're gonna record a video of you singing one of Elvis's songs and put that up there. She said, I'm waiting on Portland, JB. Very curious about them. And so just add them to the list. Add them to the list. Black Manson says that RC's got too many teams. He's actually going to go to the commissioner and demand that RC gets a two-team limit. A two-team limit. Seriously says Portland Fire next season, WNBA expansion team 2026. Love to hear the expansion. And it's also great for the incoming rookie classes too, because it's like, hey, more teams to get drafted by. That's great. Let's see. Brayhawk says, JB, who is the quarterback right now for the Atlanta Falcons? Well, right now, the Falcons still got Stick out there, don't they? Yeah, they still got Stick out there. But what happens when you let a dog loose on a stick? That's been the result. I mean, God, I mean, Stick has been out there all this time. He still ain't crossed 90 yards passing yet. Okay, he's at what, 92 now? So he's 14 to 23 for 92 yards. Man, at least the coaching staff kept him in there. I wish Cam Ward had that same type of respect. He said, "JB and Black Medicine." He said, "Imagine my closet with all those team gears." Yes, yes, I can see it now. Confusing the public. They're like, "Okay, that guy, he's a fan." Like, wait a minute, I thought he was a fan of another team. Oh, wait, this man's got like 7 different teams. See, Black Medicine says turnover question mark, and so man. And she says, Sonia Citron is really good, JB. Trust me on this. I actually seen her play a couple nights ago, and she was hitting some shots because the rest of the team wasn't hitting, but she was hitting her shots. So I've seen her now in a couple games. So I believe it. 3rd and 6. Throws one up. Oh my goodness. Incomplete. Incomplete. That reminds me of any time Matt Ryan used to try to throw the ball to Julio Jones in the end zone. Julio was not going to go get it. Now, Calvin Ridley, he'll go get it, but Julio was not going to get it in the end zone. He'll get you there, but he wasn't going to get you inside. But thanks to that, now you've got, I guess, the field goal unit about to come out here. Really could have used a touchdown there. Really could have used a touchdown. Sammy says, "Hey JB, look, candlelight. If I go for Elvis Presley, you say live from Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee." Lewis says, "Excited for Week 1, Monday Night Football." And so, what's the matchup again for Monday Night Football? I take it your Bears play, but who do they play? Field goal is good. We're all tied up 13-13. Like you said, he was in a car accident 7 years ago, and every once in a while your wrist will go snap, crackle, pop. And so, oh man, RC, oh man, let's see. Tell you what though, you've endured these last 7 years. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. But is it like a big, like, I guess, how can I put it? Like a quick pain that just like randomly just comes and goes like that? RC, you've been through it, RC. How many injuries have you endured? I could see it now, RC. I could picture it now. You up there at the grill, injury happens, everybody's concerned, but you're like, nah, I'm good. Nothing's gonna stop me from getting to that grill, and shows perseverance like no other, like no other. Blackman says needs a few more yards. How many more? How many yards did you put again? Yeah, how many yards do you need to get to for Stick? Because Stick is out there. He's out there. Lewis says Minnesota favorite -2. Okay, easy money. Lewis says easy money, and Lewis knows about easy money. Or says JB, I will eat my Popeyes when the Fever and Mystics game ends, I guess. And so, oh man, RC said this game is too good. This game is too good. Black Message says, Samuel, are you posting any videos from your trip? He says, maybe it's just really quick when it comes and goes. And so I'm glad it doesn't linger, but still, like 7 years, I would just be like, man, that just goes to show, man, you never know when it comes to like a car accident or something, man. Some of these injuries, man, they can be lifelong. Luckily, it's nothing worse than that, but still, just 7, man. Like Nesson says, "Oh, she tongue below her, like a spelt." Like Messon says, 95.5. So you got to get to 96 yards. So that means that Vegas is probably going to be like, all right, coach, he's close. Take him out. Take him out. Whenever it's close, if he doesn't go over on his own, then they will be like, yeah, take him out. Take him out. But she said, I actually spell his name like this: hug tag a liar over. Oh, man. And just a reminder that yes, JB will be going live tomorrow, and that's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time. That is the Browns versus the Eagles. Why? Simply because that's the game that I can get. So that's why I'm going to be doing that live stream tomorrow. Again, it is the Cleveland Browns against the Philadelphia Eagles. We did do the live stream for the Browns versus the Panthers. This time, the Browns versus the Eagles this time around. No Shador, no Shador for tomorrow. We'll see. Dylan Gabriel should be most likely playing. We'll see how that goes. But essentially, that's the game I'll be live streaming tomorrow. Let's see. Samuel says no video on his channel just yet. Just yet. Black Mason says Jalen 25.5 rushing over and Pet for 25.5 receiving yard over. So right now, what you can use is, let's see, hopefully Tennessee, like a quick score, and the Falcons come back. Let Stick just launch it deep. Doesn't have to be deep. Just get a completion. Get a completion, my guy. That's all we need. See, like he says, JB is better than trying to guess how to spell his last name. And so, yeah, I mean, he may not agree, but yeah. She said, Giannis. Antenna coupon. Oh man. He said, JB, I have a controversial women's basketball South Carolina Gamecocks video coming soon. Well, when's it gonna be? When are you gonna be dropping it? When are you gonna be dropping it? And controversy. Controversy gets views. I guess you can say it gets views. But now you've got me curious. You've got me curious. Again, we're in a nine. I said nine. We're in the third quarter. JB's tripping. I almost said ninth inning. We're in the third quarter, and we're tied 13-13 right now in this one. So if you took the over in this game, this is a combined 26 points. So you need to see someone score. So you're probably hoping Tennessee throws an interception so the Falcons can score quickly, is what you're probably hoping for. All right, trip to the bottom of the screen here again from their own 17-yard line. Throws it incomplete, incomplete. You gonna throw a flag? Where's that flag earlier when JB needed it? Black Medicine says, Tua, turn the ball over. All right, he said it's going to be out before the night end. Video done, edited, and thumbnail ready. Okay, okay. Do you find success with releasing? Godly. Do you find success releasing your videos later in the day, RC? Does that work better for you for more views? Lewis says week one, Baltimore at Buffalo over under 52.5. And so that's going to be a nice opener there. A nice opener there. What she said, JB, ninth inning, you don't even cover baseball. True, but when it comes to sports betting, I will track baseball and I will watch a game purely for the betting. As long as it stays good, I will watch. So I guess that's how JB will watch. And Tennessee finds a way to get the first down here. And let's see, who was that on the carry? I was big time. I was big time. Samuel says, I'm ready going Sunday afternoon time, 11:54 a.m. drive from Memphis, Tennessee to Vicksburg, Mississippi. And it'll be back by August Sunday 17th of this year. Samuel, I bet you got a lot of miles in your car by now. You've got to have a lot of miles in your car by now. And it says, I am halfway through Happy Gilmore 2. I'll finish it later. It's a little different than the first film, maybe just a little more ranchy a bit. Lewis says baseball is the most profitable sport. And so I'm beginning to notice. I'm beginning to notice. And so Mike says, who's quarterback in JB? Yeah, so right now for the Tennessee Titans, they have Brandon Allen. Didn't Brandon Allen play for Buffalo at least well, a backup for Buffalo 1 year, I feel like? Why do I feel like he suited up for the Buffalo Bills sometime around the time that Mitchell Trubisky left, maybe as a backup? RC says Los Angeles Sparks 89, Dallas Wings 78 in the fourth quarter. JB 6 minutes left in the game. See, Mike says, how is day Lewis? How is day Lewis? Like Mason says, yet to watch Happy Gilmore 2. And she said, JB, did you watch Happy Gilmore films with Adam Sandler? And so JB did not. JB did not. Meanwhile, there's an injured player, Mr. Black, number 30, 32. Yeah, 32. 47 minutes and 34 seconds to go. He says you're getting ready to go tomorrow morning, 5:45 a.m. That's awfully early in the morning there. From Memphis, Tennessee to Vicksburg, Mississippi. Samuel, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you did. The one time JB drove through Mississippi, man, like the weather that I encountered, man, like when I say I'm talking about cloud touching from the sky to the ground, lightning all over the place, hitting random vehicles, like your boy JB was done. I was done. I was like, no, this will not be happening again. And so you say Kyle Allen, and so okay, that's right, Kyle Allen. There's so many Allens. So yeah, I think Braden said earlier that the only good Allen was Josh Allen. I think Braden said that earlier. So yeah, he might be right. Thinking about how many bad Allens there are, Josh Allen is the only Allen I would have want on my team. Mike says, "How is baseball the most profitable?" Feels like from a pregame perspective, they're the easiest ones to determine, like, good matchup. Vegas is less involved because people are trying to win in baseball. They get paid too much money as it is. They want to win. They legitimately want to win. Rusty's like, in the perfect world, my teams would not be Fever and Aces. It would be the length and the and so Travis, Trav, my guy, what's good? Yo, he says my bruh is back. Yes, Trav, talk to me. Man, I tell you what, Trav, I tell you what, man. You've been doing pretty good in fantasy football the last couple years, man, especially compared to the first couple years. But this year, I got to get the division back. You took the division from us last year in our division. You won it, so I got to get my streak back after this. So I hope you've been practicing. I hope you got your draft board ready for fantasy football, man, because it's my time to win to get the division back. Got to get the division back. To say this and to say that, I cannot let P Money win that division again, though. That can't happen. Laney says, "Who is winning the Fever game?" So, who has an update for us in terms of what the score is for the Indiana Fevers in that WNBA game? Like you said, JB, I'm gonna make a phone call in a few, then get you something to eat. So if you don't come back, you'll catch us next time. And so, hey, looking forward to it again. I'll be live again tomorrow, and that's gonna be 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time for the Browns versus the Eagles. So if we don't see you again, we'll catch you that time. Sammy says, "Oh, it's your mom's SUV, about 90,000 miles there. I bet you that you don't put about a good 70,000 of those 90,000 miles up there, haven't you? Probably in the last 2 years alone." All right, so RC's got an update for you, Laney. Says Washington 72, Indiana Fever 67. So it's 72 to 67. And how much time is remaining, RC, before you dip? All right, meanwhile, another carry here for Tennessee. And again, moves the chains. And that's going to be Mims on the carry. See, Mike says, JB, even though every single person agrees Happy Gilmore first, one is the best movie ever, the sequel sucked. And so that's discouraging. And so Trav says, you're going to win it all this year. Hey, you've had a couple teams, a couple years that it was like if you could have just gotten to the playoffs those years, they could have made some noise there. But nah, it's time for JB to win it all. It's time. I've been doing like a ton of mock drafts. When I say I've been doing mock drafts, I probably do anywhere from 3 to 5 mock drafts a day at this point. So different mocks as well. So I can have different draft boards. I'm listening to the experts here. I'm doing everything it takes to be ready. Lewis says underdogs come first half of the season and unders hit more in race for pennants. You said plus more games to handicap a good underdog. That is true. The more games you have to choose from, that makes, whether it's collecting the pair, with however many you're trying to get, that makes it so much easier as opposed to like if a sport's just playing 1 or 2 games that day. Laney says, thank you. Looking, throws it to completion. He goes at about the 16-yard line there. So Tennessee moving it. Can they get a score? Can they get the score? And she says 5 minutes to go in a fourth, and it's now 73 to 69. Mystics up. Okay, okay. And Samuel comes in too. Says 6 minutes and 58 seconds in the fourth. Appreciate that, Samuel. He says, JB, what's your favorite sport film? Ooh, my favorite sports film there. I'll say probably the one that I watched the most there would probably be Remember the Titans, I'd have to say. I'm trying to think if there may be one that surpassed it now, but Remember the Titans. Oh, we got a touchdown. Got a touchdown. So Lewis, keep talking on them points. We've got another one. See, Mike says, JB, I got kicked out of several WNBA games for throwing things on the court. As if being caught on the cold play screen wasn't enough for you, Mike. Now you're out there getting escorted. I don't know how you got back in after the first time. I don't know how you did it, but yeah, that's insane, Mike. That was insane. to see so many incidents in a short period. All right, she says, when I say people were throwing toys on a WNBA court, I'm not talking about the kind Santa Claus brings. Um, I don't know. It just depends on which hood Santa Claus is in. If you got a hood Santa, he might be up for that. Oh man. Mike says, is Little Big League a good movie? It's on Tubi. Tubi's been on the come up. It's been on the come up. But you know what? Golly. I don't think I've actually watched the movie yet. Like I've seen glimpses of it, but I haven't watched it. I need to watch it myself. I just realized I need to watch it myself. Unless I'm tripping. Unless I'm tripping. I might be tripping right now. Who says you need 10 points? So he needs 10 points. Let's get him 10 more points. Well, she said, JB, you said, oh my gosh, bro, I still have yet to ever see Remember the Titans. Ever see, we don't have this conversation. We don't have this conversation. You need to do it. And so Lewis says, yes. So he took a shot to that. Took two shots, actually, two shots. Mike says, bad week, JB. And so why you say that? Amos says, hey, JB, look, the Tornado movie for 2024 is Twisters. And so bet. So JB ever watched Hardball? I have. I have. I have. RC says, JB, I'm gonna watch it, then review it. All right, let me know what you come up with. Let me know what you come up with. Gonna find out that RC actually has a part-time job as one of the people behind the reviews for Rotten Tomato. So since we are like already in August right now, what is something that everybody had on their, beginning of the year to-do list? What is something that you did accomplish that you wanted to accomplish in 2025 heading into the year? And what's something else that you wanted to accomplish that you still haven't accomplished, but you still possibly might be able to accomplish it before the year is over? Because this year is going by fast. We are already here in August. So again, something that you set out to accomplish that you did accomplish before the year really got started in terms of 2025, and you did get it accomplished this year. It's something else that you still haven't accomplished, but you still would like to before the year ends. Lewis says it's a life of a sports gambler. Yes, yes. Mike says Patriots on the come up? Question mark. And so honestly, Mike, I feel like we're gonna win about 9 games this year. We may be 9-8. If we overachieve, we could win 10. We won't beat teams that are probably like, for sure, like upper playoff teams. But I could see us being competitive, winning the games against the non-playoff teams there, and then a couple, upsets within the division from time to time. I could see us putting together a good year. And by the end of the year, we put together like signs that we've grown as a team. We've actually got a real coach now. That's going to be huge. We picked up so many key free agents there. I like what we did throughout the draft there. We're going to come up, yes, but how high? Well, I don't know because it's going to be tough to make the playoffs. Teams like the Broncos, teams like the Bengals, I feel like they'll be fighting for those, playoff spots there. So we might possibly still miss it, but I think we'll have a winning record when it's all said and done. That's about as much confidence as I have and what the Patriots have done. And oh, look at here. Stick, sticking it to him, moving him the sticks like it's Madden out here. Picks up the first down. And if you took the under on his rushing stat right now, you are probably saying some unkind things about that. But he says he's going to move these chains any way possible. Laney says, I'm getting more steps but not lost any weight there. And so, but you've been actively getting more steps there. So that's great. That is great. You know, you set to do that and to get more steps in there. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What is typically your goal for how many steps you typically aim to get? I guess in a day. Because yeah, tracking one steps. Now JB, when JB does go to the gym, which is probably anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week, just depending on how busy JB is, I will go on the treadmill for like an hour. Now I'm not gonna put like the speed too fast. The speed's gonna probably be like 3.2, 3.3, somewhere in that range. But I'll put the incline very high, almost as high as it would go. Sometimes I do put it as high as it'll go because the higher incline you burn more than if you're just going fast, but you only do like say 10, 15 minutes. But goodness, look at this. Black medicine, that was for you. Lewis, that was for you. Look at that. A touchdown. Atlanta Falcons. Look at that. I see confetti. Y'all need to stop it. These fans are dropping confetti in a preseason game. That's how badly they want to see some type of a spark on offense. I don't know what the coaching staff said to stick on this drive. He probably said, if you don't score, you're gone. But it definitely got him to go out there. And he was running, he threw the ball. Look at that. Look at that. Touchdown. Okay. 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 That puts us at 40 points here. How about that? Puts us at 40. I mean, it says coming soon, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Oh yeah, I know you're looking forward to that there. What did you ask? What are you gonna ask Santa for this year, Samuel? What are you asking Santa for this year? Lewis says you need a field goal. Let's go. That's right. Let's go. And he says over. He says it's over. Let's go. He's got it. He's got it. Just like that, making it do what it do. Miscellany says 6,000 steps is your goal every day, but some days you get more. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good, JB. Unless I'm on that treadmill, that's the only way that JB's going to get those kind of remotely in the area part of those types of steps. Other than that, JB's probably just getting about 80 steps to and fro the refrigerator back to the computer. But that's great. That's great. Especially being consistent with it as well. That is great. That is great. Keep up the great work. All right, so there are 34 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. So time is going by. Mike says greasy turkey. He loves him some greasy turkey. Mike said, y'all ain't ready for Thanksgiving. Now tell me this here, Mike. Tell me this. As a Buffalo Bills fan, would it be appropriate if, say, a Buffalo Bill fan invited me over for Thanksgiving and then we slam the person on the Thanksgiving table? Is that considered acceptable for the Buffalo Bills tradition to slam someone on the Thanksgiving table, preferably before the food's set? But if you guys prefer the food to be set, then by all means. But tradition that deep, down there in Buffalo, Mike, is it that deep? And he says, "Thank you." And so, hey, you're putting in the work, and that is great. That is great. That is great. Because like I remember back when I was in graduate school, and like I was like, how much did I weigh at the time? I think I had weighed like 240-ish pounds, 240 pounds around that. And so when I tell you, like, because that was back when JB had long hair, so I had like my dreadlocks and stuff and all that. So I started looking in the mirror and I was like, you know what? You're getting kind of big. The doctor was like, oh yeah, you're obese. You're obese. And I was like, well, dang, doc, thanks for the encouragement. So then I went ahead and just, started working out and I was exhausted. When I first got on that treadmill, I could not do more than 10 minutes at a slow rate just to see where my heart rate was. That's how bad out of shape I had gotten. Again, from years of, just a couple years before playing sports and stuff, completely was out of shape. Then I joined this one class. It was like a fitness class. We had a trainer and everything. It was like a class that had like people of different, ages and stuff like that. All of us working out and stuff. We did different things involving like dumbbells, or either we take walk, depending on what day it was, and we would always, stretch as a unit. All that great stuff we would do, and then over time, I was like, you know what? I want to expedite my progress and stuff. And so that's when I started, doing a treadmill a little bit more, pushing myself, then come back later in the day and do it again just to increase my endurance so I can go longer and longer and longer. It did help though that at the time JB started cutting out those Burger King meals that I was getting right after I would work out at the beginning. I would go to Burger King and try to reward myself for working out. Once I had cut that out, that's when I started to see big differences. But I know that it takes dedication, perseverance to continue to keep moving there, to motivate yourself. For JB, that's music. That's what music is. I have my Spotify. Send me suggestions. If I like it, just add it and then just listen to different music and stuff, or whatever it is that I need to help, keep my mind, focused on whatever that is, as opposed to the struggle of, being on the treadmill for an hour in my case. So yeah. Lewis says, "Wow, unders 0-3, overs 2-0, 3-2. It's trying to tell you something, Lewis. It's trying to tell you something." Uh, Mike says, "Yeah, any table is sufficient for initiation," and that's coming from Mike himself from Bill Mafia. So absolutely. Let's see. Mike says, "Even a pre-cut is okay if like Granny needs to be jumped into Bill's Mafia." Yes, I feel you there. I feel you there. Diamond says Thanksgiving Day, NFL Week 13, Game 3, Packers and Lions. And that's gonna be 12 o'clock. And y'all know I love streaming the Packers and the Lions. Like if we get a Packers and Lions game on Thanksgiving, that's probably gonna be the one that JB ends up streaming. Now, if I can't do early in the day for some odd reason and I end up having to do another one, then it's gonna be the Bengals and the Ravens that day. But something tells me it'll be the Packers and the Lions, but it's too far out to know for sure for JB. Black Manson says, "In pick we throw." Yes, you guys certainly shift gears on that last one compared to what he was doing before. Laney says, "We have chickens and a garden this year, so that has helped so much." And so, okay, okay, nice, 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 nice. What are some of the plants that you enjoy growing the most when it comes to a garden? What are some of the more, I guess, um, how can I put it, more difficult plants to grow, and then some of the ones that you just enjoy growing the most at the garden? Didn't know you had chickens in the garden. Let's see. Mike says Eagles versus Cowboys will be goaded. And so, Mike, well, first of all, do we think that Micah Parsons is going to be playing in that week one matchup? But yeah, I feel good about it. I feel like Dak Prescott, he's gonna, because he seems like Dak Prescott has a bounce back, move forward, move back, and now it's time for him to move forward again because last year was a bad year, injured year, all that stuff. So it's time to move forward again this year. And I feel like adding, a guy like Pickens who's never had a quarterback, period, throwing the ball. Yes, I said he didn't have a quarterback. So if there's one thing about Dak, he's gonna throw that ball. Him and Jameis Winston will both throw that ball, but Dak will get to yards and Dak keeps his receivers hungry for the ball. So Mike says he thinks he'll sign in week 3. Okay, okay. Yeah, I can see a week 3 signing because Jerry's going to wait it out. Then after the team's 0-2 to start off the year, then he'll be like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and pay him. Going to stop him on the rush there. Okay. Lewis says Cowboys easy plus 7.5. Easy money. I'd have to agree with you there. Easy money. Let's see. All right, you guys give JB 1 second. I'll be right back, but give JB 1 second. Got to step away for a second. Let's see. Mhm. Not, what was it, Lamar Jackson in the what was it, 3rd quarter? My man came back revived after that, though. Lewis says, "Too much excitement on the Eagles side." There is a lot of excitement there. Laney says, "We just done it this year, so it's been hard to grow everything except tomato, squash, cucumbers, and bell peppers and okra. The corn, lettuce, cabbage, green beans, and potatoes were hard to get going." Okay, okay. Let's see. Back in the day, let's see. I've actually grown squash, because I remember, well, I say me, but mostly my mom did all the work there. But I remember growing squash. That was something that was very easy to grow. I feel like very easy to grow. Lewis had to laugh. You see, Braden says Jeopardy theme songs play. See, it says fun fact number 36. Baby played the Princess and Cinderella play in elementary school. Absolutely not. Lewis says that 1 week Patriots -3 versus the Raiders looks fishy. It does. It does. Yes. You say I'm muted? Am I still muted now? In fact, 37. I took right up to the second semester of graduate school at the University of Florida. Now that would be horrible. Let's see. It's good now. Let's see. So Braden says I'm good. Mike says muted, muted. All right. So if JB's still muted, y'all go ahead and let JB know again. But I believe Braden said I'm good now. Mike says, "What do you think about Cook signing?" And so, well, honestly, I've always been a fan of Cook getting the deal done. So I was happy for him. I was happy for him. I felt like you didn't need that distraction, so that was good. That was good. I'm happy for him. Samuel says, "Hey JB, I'm at 36 subscribed and 10 videos for 1900 views. I wonder how long did it take me to get to my first 1900 views? Was I there by 10 videos? I don't think so." You say your second channel? Let's see. Braden said, "Oh, JB, I know you put a rule about rating people, but RC is live. Could we raid him?" And so, oh, RC is live right now? That's why he dipped off there. Okay, okay. Well, in that case, yeah, let's absolutely get that train going there. So we'll do it for RC. This will be the exception here for RC. All right, so let's do it. So I guess if you can drop the link in the chat right there, Braden, if you can drop that link, that'd be great. Mike says good. All right, let's go ahead and get that. I'll go ahead and start this for anyone that's there. All right, appreciate that, Braden. So I've already went ahead and I'll go ahead and put this one up there too. So all right, let's do it, y'all. Let's go ahead and raid. I'll go ahead and meet you guys there. And here we go. Oh yeah, that's what he's saying, but my man looked like he preaching up there. Looked like he preaching. Listen, Lewis says, "Sorry, that was me. I was unmuted." Mm, mm. Hey, Ike says, "Fun fact number 37, JB stormed the Capitol on January 6th." Let's see. You say, "Lewis." I knew Lewis was the one behind it. I knew it. He was mad. He was afraid I was going to say something about Rex Grossman, so he muted me. And so So we've put the link there. The part about, I don't know how everybody else does it, but since I'm actually, streaming here and I can't pick up the audio there, but good old RC. So let's see. Good pot LOL. Well, he's gonna start that. You just kicked over like a red ant pile right there. Okay, hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I see someone mentioned about his donations. Got to make sure you got that set up for sure. Oh man, between Black Medicine and Antonio Brown, man, they can't catch a break. Man, man, man. That's AJ Terrell over there. Okay, okay. Golly, some players I just can't really recognize without their jersey and stuff. I would have mistaken him for a casual if I didn't see the name up there. Oh wow, look at this. Again, we're here in the fourth quarter, about 8 minutes and 51 seconds left to go. Is a damn hair in the way? Uh, Wait, Amari Cooper is still a free agent right now? And Zadarius Smith as well? Stephon Gilmore? Black Medicine, I assumed the latter. So I appreciate the correction because I did assume the latter there. Mike says, how is Stephon Diggs like my laundry? Explain to us how that is. And if you said the man is washed up, Mike, the man is not washed up. Bruh. Yo, I thought RC was holding the camera while he was about to run the 40 time, y'all. I about to say, get it. Medicine says, bruh. Ooh, pass completed to the 40-yard line. Mike says they both come correct. Okay, okay, okay. No pink baggies. I mean, Falcons trailing right now 23-20, but Emery Jones in there at quarterback, who they signed. Speaking of January 6th, they signed him on January 6th this year, though. And so, see what he does. The Mike says they both have clean money, cleaned money. I get the completion. I got it, but the receiver didn't. Wait, that DJ Chark out there? DJ Chark is still in the league? He's still collecting checks? Man, that's oh DJ. How long DJ been in the league now, y'all? How long DJ been in the league now? I thought his career would have been over about 5 years ago. Somehow he still does it. I got to give the man credit. Punts on the way. Fair catch. Caught at the 24-yard line. Oh, my bad. I didn't even read a comment. Lewis said, JB, if you had to cheer for an opponent, who would you cheer for? Jets, Giants, Clippers. Ooh, Lewis, you've been paying attention. You've been taking notes. You know that all three of those teams lead to a dead end for JB. So if JB had to choose between one of those three teams to root for, JB would climb up the tallest building and trust fall like there's no tomorrow, straight on his neck before having to choose one of those three teams right there. JB just can't do it. Just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. JB just would not watch sports. I'd probably just start going through just classical recitals all day as opposed to root for the Jets, the Giants, or the Clippers. Like, really? No thanks. No thanks. Let's see. It said, "Hey JB, look live 2025 candlelight Figos live stream Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee now." And so JB will check it out. Mike says, Clark is so washed, even Peterman be like, you know what? That's the name we haven't heard this year. Nathan Peterman. Isn't Nathan Peterman getting a workout with the New York Jets? I believe he's getting at least a tryout with them. Him and another washed up quarterback, I can't remember. But they're competing because I believe Tyrod Taylor, is he still there? Tyrod Taylor is hurt. But yeah, let's see. You say Emery joined former DC defender. And so that's right. That's right. Lewis is like, yeah, he'll drink for that. He'll drink for that. He gets it. And so, yeah, like all three of those teams, JB does not like any one of them. It makes me mad. I get more angry watching them have success than I do watching my own team take a loss. That's how much I dislike those three teams. Now the Jets are always losing, but I still enjoy every single loss they get. The Giants, that hatred will be forever, but I've learned to move on a little bit from those dark days. Now that a certain person's not on their team anymore, certain two people actually not on their team. But all I can say is that I kind of sort of, in a way, laughed once I found out, of course, that Plexico Burst was okay. But after I knew he was okay, then I found the situation quite hilarious. But anyways, but the Clippers, what have they done? What have they done to talk the talk that they do? Because they swear that they've done this, that, and the third. Every year is supposed to be their year, but it ain't, and it'll never be. Simon said, "Gong now." You say you're not live stream on your first channel, but you're trying to get there. I know you're trying to get there. Mike says, "F in chat for Michael Pratt, incomplete." Is that Trevor in the game? Trevor Simeon? I know I've been paying attention as of late, but man, they don't put Trevor Simeon in the game, guys. Oh man, all these time machines. Lewis said, if Brian can take pictures with Clippers logos, JB can share Clippers. Lewis, JB, Braun used to be JB's most hated player before he joined the Lakers and stuff. So if he were to do something like that, he'd go right back to that list. Oh, what a nice duck on the play. But he would go right back on that list for me because before that, I just didn't like the fact that people early in his career elevated him above Kobe while Kobe was still, tail end of his prime, was still in his prime, but people was already ready to anoint and crown LeBron back then. But man, Mike says that Simeon is mid. Funny because that's how Cam Ward described the Tennessee Titans offense in practice. All right, so we got 6 minutes and 12 seconds left to go here in this game. Titans up 23-20. All right, we got a return. It's at the 30, 35. brought down at nearly the 40-yard line, and that's where the Atlanta Falcons, who trail by 3, will take over. So you got all this time. You can run it, you can throw it. Right now, Emory Jones is 10 yards. I believe his player prop was at like, trying to remember, I think it was like 78 yards passing. See, Greyhawk said, wish we got a Kobe LeBron finals. And so now that would have been nice. That would have been nice. That would have been real nice. Esther says LeBron weird for that. And so yes, yes. So yeah, I mean, I would personally never do it. I would never do it. But again, this is Bron. He wants to be friends with everybody. Everybody. Like, bruh, no. Mike says, thank you, Zoomers, for coming up with mid. Like, I like it. He likes it. He loves it. Greyhawk says, Emery is in the NFL. That's surprising. And so, yeah, I mean, he was picked up like somewhere, like I think around January, they said is when he signed with the Falcons. So, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And quite frankly, when you're going against Eaton's thick, you've got a chance. Now, Eaton lit it up, though. He lit it up with that deep pass. But I'm excited for Emery because last game he looked nice. Can he replicate that, though? But he's got a unique skill set, so I'm rooting for him. I'll tell you what, though. I watched a little bit of the Cowboys preseason game last time, and two things I came away with. One, Cowboy fans they really like Phil Maffa, the guy from the Clemson Tigers. Phil Maffa, Phil Maffa. So remember him, and he was a guy that personally like I would have liked in the late rounds if he was fully healthy. But, I think he'll be nice for them, big physical runner, and they need that. Honestly, the Miami Dolphins, they should have took Phil Maffa from Clemson because Phil Maffa, if he's fully healthy, he's exactly what they need, someone big and physical that can help them score and, convert on those short yardage situations. The Dolphins were like the only team that was less than 50% in like those short yardage, situations. So they needed a big, powerful running back and a better offensive line for run block as well, but entirely different conversation. But the other observation I have in the Cowboys game is that they turned on Joe Milton so quickly. Joe Milton the third, the way he kept throwing that ball and kept throwing it deep for no apparent reason, despite the fact that nobody was open, he kept going deep without repentance. You know what? That's gonna be my new phrase there. Going deep without repentance. That means you're not looking at anybody else on the field. You're looking at the deepest receiver and you just launching it. And that is what Joe Milton III is doing in that opening game he had for the Dallas Cowboys. And he was not connecting. He was not connecting. That's why they started booing him when he kept going out there. They wanted the coach to put in the other quarterback at that point. They had seen enough. So that was funny. It says only 6 likes. You say, like the stream, y'all. Now, SM says it says 15 for SM. That's a big difference now between 6 and 15. Let JB take a look and see what it shows. JB, I'll have to look for my phone to see exactly what number it shows me. Doesn't like to show me until after the stream's over. System says, do I think that Kobe and Chris Paul would have won together? Quite frankly, no. If I'm being honest, no. Because one, we know that that's the year that Kobe Bryant got injured, the year that he would have been joining, but instead we ended up with Steve Nash. Two, Chris Paul's history tells me that at that point in his career, Chris Paul was going to get injured in the playoffs. Three, we had that a word I don't want to say right now in the thing, but we had Dwight Howard on the team. And at that point in time, Dwight Howard didn't have the right mindset of what we needed during that time. So Chris Paul would have got hurt. If Kobe still ends up tearing his Achilles and he ends still that we definitely don't get it. But and then Dwight Howard just wasn't a good fit. So it would not have led us to a dip, I don't think. And proved some wins for us during the regular season during those times there, but it would not have gotten us a championship in that period. Unless they were, like, earlier in their careers. But on paper, though, We we'd have won the paper championship. That's my thought because I feel like Chris Paul always got hurt in the playoff, and he would have probably got hurt again. 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Samuel says, "Pretty candlelight vigil at Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee." Mike says, "Don't listen to the haters, Milton. Just keep launching it deep." He says, "Keep launching it deep." Again, the Falcons, like they can win this game now. I know it's a preseason, but it's about building habits. They run the ball. Golly, man. Every time I see someone with the number 30 wearing a Falcons jersey here, I keep thinking of Todd Gurley. Like just I just naturally think of him during his time in Atlanta. Mike says, double down on what's not working. Just double down on it. Eventually it'll work. Wait, that's what I was supposed to be checking to see how many. Let's see. If I look, let's see. All right, so I'm seeing 13 likes. Now I see 14. So now I see 14, 15. So I just saw the number increase there. Okay. See, Samuel says, "Am I going to be live tomorrow?" Yes, Samuel. I will be live tomorrow for the first, well, one of the first, because there's like 4, 5 games that come on at the same time tomorrow at 1. But I'll be on for the Browns and the Eagles. So that's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time. Again, that's 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central tomorrow. JB will be live for that. So, yes, that means that JB will have to go to sleep at a decent time. So I have the energy to, get up, prepare, have my regular routine. But yes, the time for the live tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see Dylan Gabriel in the game tomorrow. See what he can do for the Browns. Raven says Joe Milton is not good when it comes to intermediate throws. He can only bomb it, and that even doesn't work always. Yeah, you're right. Like we saw last week, or we did see it. Samuel says, "I'm out. Bye. Good night." Yeah, good night to you, Samuel. And yeah, see you next stream. Take care. Don't do nothing that JB wouldn't do. Lewis says, "I'll be leaving the bar now. So good stream, JB. Till next stream." And so, hey, congratulations on getting that W tonight. The over hit as we knew it would. There was never a doubt. JB never doubted that one bit. But that puts you at 3-2. Well, 2-3 on the year. So we got to get you another W tomorrow. Get you back at 500. Let me see. Mike says, "Will Sanders play tomorrow?" Sanders will not play tomorrow. Sanders is dealing with an injury, but maybe the last preseason game he might be good for that, but he will not be playing tomorrow. But what will help his case is if Dylan Gabriel goes out there and struggles. You never want to see a guy struggle, but I'm just saying if Dylan Gabriel goes out there and struggles, that will help Sanders' case, hopefully, and leapfrogging him on the depth chart because they are not going to just give him this role. Oh, what a throw, what an incompletion there for the Falcons. Lewis says, "Good night, everyone." And he'll have another drink before he sleeps. Mike says, "Lewis, that's enough. That's enough. No more drinking." He's like, "You've got to stop, man. Get control. You've got to stop." Oh, man. Samuel says, "Tomorrow, full day drive." Yeah, you're going to need to sleep. You're going to need to sleep. Laney said, "I read that Sanders was hurt and day to day." Yeah, he is day to day, but he won't be playing in a preseason game tomorrow. But that being said, he could return back to practice the following week and be, ready for the final preseason game. So I hope he gets another opportunity to go out there and perform at a high level. Mike says we root Sanders. Anybody here in our stream rooting for Dylan Gabriel to be the starting quarterback or to get his shot over Sanders? Because it's really tough. If Dylan was on a different team, like by himself, I could root for him. If Dylan was on the Saints right now, I would certainly root for him to, win that job. But him versus Shador and stuff, and then just seeing how they're doing Shador and stuff, I want Shador to get a fair shot. but at the same time, it's going to come at Dylan Gabriel's expense in the long run. But who knows? RG3 got the first crack before Kirk Cousins eventually took over, so you never know. But what we do know is that it's Cleveland. So that's what concerns me the most, that it is the Browns. All right, but here we go, guys. Fourth down here, 4th and 2. Because all the Browns' young quarterbacks are basically injured. Then there's Unc Flacco, healthy as can be. Gresham says, I think with Chris Paul on the team, Kobe doesn't tear his Achilles because the season that happened, he was carrying the Lakers and had a lot of wear and tear minutes. Now that is true. That is true. That is true. So if we're, going to the assumption that yeah, he doesn't get hurt, then that's an entirely different game plan. But I would hope that between both Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant, that they be able to reach the right Howard to where the right Howard in that situation would be like, all right. I want to win a championship. These two got, well, Kobe, got the championship. And then Chris Paul, a lot of respect for him as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just, do my role. And plus, you did have Gasol as well. So yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Meanwhile, look at them turn on that speed that takes on two guys there. Oh, is he hurt? Is he hurt? And Jones slow to get up there. You saw it with his I was watching his hand there. You saw his hand. If you look at the hit on the replay there and you see his hand, I was watching that to see is he concussed? He may be concussed. Brown says, I don't care who wins the quarterback battle. Mike says, there is a day in every young man's life when you realize, wait a minute, the reason I get no sleep the night before was because I was drinking. Mike says, but at some point you got to realize it. He said, Gabriel, 2 words. Boo. I'd be that guy tapping him on the shoulder saying, hey, bro, they're not booing with you. They're booing against you. Just want to make sure you know that. Laney says, you like Dylan. He's a good quarterback, but you like Sanders too. That's the dilemma, is that you got to root for one to fail if you root for the other. And so that's the tough part about it. But if they both do good, at some point it'll work itself out. The other one at some point will go to another team, and who knows? There's a lot of teams out there that can still use quarterbacks that didn't draft quarterbacks, or like their quarterback may not be that great, may not be a long-term situation. Who knows? Justin says, what if Jordan didn't retire in '99? Did the Bulls beat the Spurs in that moment? Now that is the question. Now I would like to say that in that case, with Jordan being there, that he would, because you have to think about the impact, obviously, throughout, free agency and stuff, knowing that Jordan's there, all that great stuff there. But that's a question. That's a question. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that the Bulls beat him. All right, so Tennessee more interested in trying to run out this clock here. Mike says, I'm a simple man. You said I root Allen and Daniels and drink cold beer. Absolutely. So for all you guys that play fantasy football, plan on playing fantasy football, or again, just, track the NFL season here. When it comes to Sam Darnold, what do you guys expect from the Seahawks and Sam Darnold this year? Are the Seahawks going to make the playoff this year? Speaking of the Seahawks, their game just starting. But are the Seahawks a playoff team? Because, you know, losing a guy like Geno Smith. Geno Smith did a lot of good things down there in Seattle. Now, obviously, he had some good weapons to throw it to as well, in which that's why the Geno to, Brock Bowers combination, I'm excited for that. If we thought Connell to Brock Bowers was nice, imagine Geno to Brock Bowers. But how much faith do we have in Sam Darnold to repeat what he did early last year for the Minnesota Vikings? That is the million-dollar question. And just another reminder that yes, JB will be live tomorrow for the Browns and the Eagles. That's going to be 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time. Meanwhile, Titans and Falcons, they're at the 2-minute warning. All right. So Mike says that Donna will help them beat mid. And so, okay, okay. He said good teams will rock his super weak arm. So he'll look bad against the good, but good against the bad, or at least help against the bad. So, okay. And again, just waiting for the game to return. All right. So SM says, I think they downgraded going from Gino and DK to Donald and Cup. And so, oh yeah, because Cup will get injured in a minute that much, and he's on the older side there. So it was a downgrade. It was a downgrade. I will not argue with you there because I agree with you. And then to take Sam from a system in which he was still growing, it's not like he had been in the system for like 3 years to where I'm like, okay, even removed from the system, he won't revert back to bad habits. But we'll see. We'll see. Mike says, Seattle will be like 15 or 17 out of 32. So don't think Darnold got the weapons he had in mini. That's another thing. That's another thing because they moved on from the weapons. That is correct. They better pray that Jackson Smith and Jigma has a breakout year this year. That's going to be one heck of a prayer. But that's what they better pray for. All right. So again, right now, looking at Tennessee, just trying to move. They want to pick up another first down, obviously. Falcons call their final timeout, 4th and 5. So Tennessee will punt the ball. So let's see if Atlanta can find a way to come up with a W. And again, just to recap how the quarterbacks have done so far in this one. So we'll start with the Falcons there. So Easton Stick, he was 15 of 25 for 145 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked 1 time. He's also had 2 carries for 14 yards. Meanwhile, for Emery Jones so far, 2 of 5 for 16 yards in this one. He's also got 3 carries for 9 yards. As for the Tennessee Titans, Brandon Allen was 11 of 14 for 119 yards. He played most of the game. Cam Moore got the start, but he was 2 of 7 for 42 yards passing before the coach took him out way too early. And Trevor Simeon, 4 of 7 for 34 yards so far in this one. Mike says more like Jackson Smith mid ma mid ma. Oh man. SM said, not even trying to hate, but I think he gets benched for Milrow mid-season. I could see if he struggles that he gets benched for Milrow, but it's going to come down to Milrow. I feel like with Milrow, he's going to need a full year to just develop because he's got lots of raw talent, lots of skills and stuff, things that you like. And there may be some times where you put him out there for packages and stuff. But I feel like to get to the NFL speed and have success, he's going to need to spend his whole year as a red shirt year. Maybe at the very end, if they're eliminated from the playoff, you let him get a little bit of live reps and see where he's at. But he's definitely going to take at least I feel like 2 years to get comfortable to where we can see like, okay, that upside. But he comes with a lot of tools. And the Seahawks, they really like what they have in him. So, but I can also see if Sam Darnold's going out there reverting back to the Jet Sam Darnold that we saw, yeah, he'll be gone fast. And he says, JB, hopefully see you tomorrow. Great stream. Good night, everyone. Yeah, good night to you. Thank you so much for coming through there, Elaney. Glad that your son had a great birthday. And hopefully we will get to see you again tomorrow. But if not, then hey, we'll see you the next time for sure. Around 45 seconds here. And the Falcons have no timeouts to work with. So let's see. They're at the 40-yard line of the Tennessee Titans here. They're going to clock it. 35 seconds remaining. Again, Tennessee's got 2 timeouts, but Tennessee's up 23-20. As for the Falcons, of course, you want to go out there, move this ball. Why is why is Eaton Stick back out there? Like what happened to Emory Jones? Like, wow. Vegas called again, I see. And when Vegas calls, we answer. Some says, "Is Shador playing tomorrow?" Shador will not be playing tomorrow. No, he's still kind of day to day in terms of his injury, but they for sure. Well, I shouldn't say for sure, but they say he's very unlikely to play. So he's basically not going to play. They're going to use the time to take a good look at Dylan Gabriel. I feel like just like they looked at Shador the first game, and then but he should hopefully be back the final preseason game. But yeah, he's not going to be playing tomorrow. Very unfortunate. Mike says, "Where's Gino?" Gino's with the Raiders. Yeah, Gino is with the Raiders. Tom Brady was like, "Hey, let's go ahead and bring in Gino. That's the quarterback I feel like would be great for us to go ahead and acquire. You know what you're getting. Gino passes the ball well. Go get Gino." So Gino's with the Raiders. So I'm sure Brock Bowers is happy about that. I'm sure Jacoby Myers is happy about that as well. You got Ashton Genty in the backfield. I have no idea what they did to the offensive line at all, but we'll see how they look this upcoming season. Geno should keep them in a lot more games. 'Cause there was a couple of games I was watching last year where I was like, hey, if Aiden O'Connell just has a decent game, maybe they have a chance. As some says, when is my fantasy draft? So yeah, so my fantasy draft for my league, it is going to be Friday, August the 29th. Yeah, August the 29th. And it's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on August the 29th is when my fantasy league draft is. So I've got another league that I'm in that the draft is going to be, I think that corresponding Monday, I think. But yeah, that's when my draft is. So yeah, I'm excited. Doing a lot of mock drafts, all that great stuff. Meanwhile, yeah, Stick just threw that one up there. So basically, that's the final score right there. So Tennessee wins 23-20 in week 2 of the preseason game. So that is final. Mike says, "I'm so glad it's the weekend. I'm more excited than Watson in a massage parlor." And so I don't know if you can get that excited there, Mike. I don't know about that. But yeah, JB will go ahead and end the stream here. Got to go get some food. But man, Mike is throwing shade at everybody today. Is that Gardner Minshew in there for the Kansas City Chiefs? Or am I? That looks like Gardner Minshew. But oh man, SM says great stream, JB. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for coming through. Absolutely, SM. Make sure you guys have a great, rest of your night. And yeah, JB will be on tomorrow. Watch the Browns and the Eagles. Be my first real look, I feel like, at the Eagles this preseason, so I'll take a good look at them as well. But yeah, good exciting times, football tomorrow, that's always great. So JB's happy about that. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow. JB's gonna sign off now, but see you guys then.